Okay. Sweet. We are live. What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Random Encounter Podcast, episode 131. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined by the Dress Fear Master, the dominant himself, Brian.
Live from the Red Dragon Cave.
It's funny. I'm looking at your shirt, and Ridley just looks like Blue Eyes White Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it looks
Oh, yeah, kinda
right.
does.
It's
Yep.
like Samus is fighting Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's crazy. But it's a cool shirt nonetheless. I like it. I like it.
Thank you.
And we got the fanboy himself, Phaneckswhy, with what is that? Sailor Moon?
It is.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
the Sailor Moon
see-through.
and Luna. Yeah,
Yeah, well, hold on.
yeah, because of your green screen. It's
There you go.
there you go. Where'd you get that shirt at?
That, Yeeties,
Yeti?
whatever.
We need a
Yeah.
sponsorship.
Yeah.
You guys do.
Yes.
I'm about to so I pass on a lot of the shirts. Like the Wind Waker one was one that I passed on, but they have a Earthbound shirt, and I was like, you know what? I need to
That
represent
Earthbound shirt does look
Earthbound.
cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like,
the
I need to
Starman.
represent Earthbound somehow. So I might pick up that shirt today. I was debating, like right before I was setting up the podcast, I was looking at it. It's like, should I? Should I not? Hey, but I got Metroid Fusion, so official
That's cool.
Nintendo wear from the
Nice.
from the Nintendo store. So
I just bought something from the official Nintendo store myself today.
yeah, I know you did. You did. You got your third. Everybody here, if you guys can't get a Switch 2, the reason is because of Bryant here. He has all these Switch 2s pre-orders.
To be clear, I'm not scalping them. One of them is mine, and then the two others are for friends of mine. So those are two people you wouldn't have to fight in the online line. So those are just spoken for.
You know what's crazy is today, sorry, my eye is like bothering me, my left eye. So I'm scratching my eye. But anyways, today I was by a GameStop store and they had a huge line. And I'm here thinking like what
Oh,
what, what could it be? I'm here
more
thinking
stock?
no, I thought it was stock of Switch 2. It's Pokemon cards. Like
Ah.
yeah, just a lot of people go in and buy them and resell them, unfortunately. But yeah, that was the whole line about. I was like, man, I mean, you're getting me excited because I was thinking, it's like, man, what could it be? Could it like be Switch 2 restock, or could it be something Switch 2 related, or something that I don't even know that's pretty good? No, it's just Pokemon cards. So
Are any of your kids into that? That sounds like a hellish wallet sink to get into
they
that.
they are, or they were, but then they stopped, and I just tell them, look, the way these cards are going, just play Pokemon's TCG Pocket. Like that's really the best bet when it comes to that stuff. They did
A
get
lot
into
cheaper.
Yu-Gi-Oh with me. Like we played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh because I like the Yu-Gi-Oh card game and the rules. I think till this day, maybe it's because I grew up watching the anime and you kind of got the gist of what the rules are, and then of course you play and then you kind of put the two together. But I really liked it. I enjoyed that. So they got into that, and then we got into the Digimon card game, which is actually really fun too. The downside to the Digimon card game, like a lot of card games, is a meta gets developed, and it's like if you don't have specific cards, then you always lose. Which unfortunately, that's the way card games roll, and that's why I don't like card games, or rather, I don't like playing card games with real people. I'd rather play against CPU or computer components because at least they play a variety of different decks, so that's more fun.
Speaking of card games, the
Mhm.
everybody's posting pictures from the Final Fantasy Magic cards. They look pretty sweet, not
They
gonna
do
lie.
look sweet. Like I would love to just own the cards just to display them.
Yeah,
Actually, speaking of
right.
card games and owning them, I these are card games that I don't. This is a card game I don't play, but sorry, I had to take it out of my drawer. I own these cards because I think they're pretty cool. Uh, they were actually gifted to me a while back, but they're Fire Emblem cards.
Oh,
So
those are
you
your
have the
dream cards.
different, yeah. So you have the different characters from Fire Emblem, and
Nice.
as you can see, it's Japanese, so I don't play it because
Mhm.
I can't read Japanese. And this card game is only available in Japan, but I think
Those are cool.
it's
Who got you
it's
those?
pretty cool. It was somebody who works at where I work at. They had got a long
Oh, nice.
time ago.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
those are nice looking.
yeah, they're pretty awesome. Is that all the cards? I'm missing one. There's one.
Yeah.
Where did it go? Oh, yeah, it's the last one. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
cool. That's sick.
really
I like
cool. They
that.
have characters from all the different Fire Emblem games. And, pretty awesome. I like it. My favorite character has always been Ephraim from Sacred Stone. So if you do have a Nintendo Switch Online, he's one of the main characters to that game.
What
It's
game? Which system is that for?
Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
So it's Sacred Stones. He's one of the main characters because the main characters is his sister and him. They're twins. So it's kind of cool. It's one of those games that you start off playing as the sister, and then once you meet the brother, then it branches into two paths. You can choose to
Gotcha.
finish the game with the brother, or you can follow the sister's story. And they're not the same story. So of course you want to replay it and do that. Usually the best bet is make a save file at that like place where you choose
The
between the
split
two,
off.
and then
Mhm.
do one for the sister and then one for Ephraim. Sister's name's Erica, by the way. So do one for Erica or one for Ephraim, which is pretty cool. And
Have
of
we
course you get
established
different
which is your
characters.
favorite?
Um, I think I've said it a couple of times. Maybe, maybe
GameCube?
not. Huh?
Is it the GameCube one?
It's actually the Wii one.
We won.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, no, I lied. The Wii one is up there, but actually
Okay.
my favorite has to be Shadows of Valencia,
Okay.
which is can you see it?
That's
Kind of.
3DS, isn't it?
It is. It has, in my
And that's
opinion,
isn't that a
the
remake?
it
Kinda?
is the remake of the
Yeah.
second game. It has the best art style. I love the character designs
Yeah, it
between the
looks
two.
nice. Mhm.
The characters are just their alphas and everything is just pretty awesome. But the
Mhm.
story is good. I don't know why. For some reason, my favorite games happen to have love stories in it. I like Final Fantasy X, right? It's a huge love story
Big love
between
story.
Yuna and Titus. This is a huge love story between the two. What I really like about this Fire Emblem is you play as both protagonists simultaneously. So you have this giant map, and you're on two different well, I guess they're not really continents, they're like two different sides of the continent, and you follow each story. So like you'll be like on Act 1, I think it is. And then you have Alm, who's the male protagonist, and then you have Celica, the female protagonist, and they're on separate sides. And then they'll go ahead and meet together. Then you get this huge like cutscene and everything, and then they split off, and then you follow their stories. And then of course they meet again, and then they split off again, which is kind of cool. And then at the end, they finally all come together, and then you play as both the people you met with Alm and Celica. And what I like about the story is it's not not so much like Romeo and Juliet, but they're both very, how can I put it?
Tragic?
They're not tragic. They grew up as kids. They kind of like fell in love as kids, right? It's one of those stories. But as they got older, their values kind of like separate. Like Celica's all about peace and like, hey, we need to have this peace right there. Where Alm's like, no, these people went and messed with my people, so we're gonna go ahead and attack them and get rid of them, kind of thing. So they have like different mindset, and that's kind of where that comes in. You start off with them as kids, which is kind of cool. You play like a little part of them as kids, and then you get to where their current age is, and you kind of start seeing them develop. And then when they see each other, because they haven't seen each other for such a long time, you realize they've grown so apart because their views on the war that they're in are two different sides. They're not like on opposed sides. They're just, one is more gearing towards peace without having to fight, where the other one's like, no, they attacked, we're gonna destroy them now. So they have like that different mindset, which is kind of cool.
It's
But
all about an eye for an eye type. Yeah.
Sounds like
yeah,
Gundam Wing.
it does have actually a lot of Gundam, like, because Gundam's very political, so it does kind of
Mhm.
have like that political standpoint of
Like the pacifism versus the peace through force or peace through pacifism or whatever.
exactly. And I'm saying like he's not like forcefully like that, but he's like, no, we gotta fight. We have to fight, right? Like I'm not saying like he's going down murdering people with no mercy. No, he has mercy. He has all of that. But his
This is
thing
a
is,
Nintendo game after all.
yeah, exactly. It's just that he knows that he has to fight, and that's the only way that's gonna stop this war. That's his outlook. Where Celica's outlook is like, no, there's probably another way. Like there's probably another way to stop this war. So very good game. Highly recommend
A
it.
lot
The
of Fire
voice
Emblem talk.
cast is a 10 out of 10 voice cast. Amazing. If you like the Nier Automata voice cast, it's literally the same voice
I do.
cast plus some. 9S's voice actor is Alm's voice actor. I believe Celica's voice actor is not from Nier. It's actually, what's her name from Persona 5, the blonde hair girl.
On.
Yes, it's her voice in there.
Cool.
Speaking of Persona 5, this was actually going to be part of our
Oh,
small
good
news, but we
segue.
might as well talk about that. Persona 5 X has finally actually been shown up on both the App Store and the Play Store, which is kind of cool. Music's great. You can actually go, if you have a streaming service like Apple Music, Spotify, you can actually listen to the intro. It's already available on there, which is kind of cool. But that comes out June 25th, which I'm probably gonna dive into it. It's also on Steam as well. I should mention that it's on Steam as well. I'm probably gonna dive into it. I just don't know how much I will like it because it is a mobile gacha game type. So I don't know what I feel about it, but I might just play it just to play it and be like, oh, cool. I got to listen to the same music, that I listen to Persona 5 on there. But what do you guys think about this?
Well,
Oh, go ahead, Ben.
it's just I haven't really played any of the Persona games, so I'm like,
Yeah, this isn't where you're gonna start.
yeah,
That would be really
it doesn't.
bad.
Yeah, but when you talked about it being a gotcha game, it brought something else up to my mind. But we can do that after. Talk about that later.
I love Persona 5, obviously, but I've never been into gacha games at all. I've never gotten it. I mean, because here's the thing, like that Final Fantasy 7 game that came out, what's it called?
Yeah, Ever Crisis,
Ever
I think.
Crisis? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I never got into that, and that's like a gotcha game or whatever. And I love Final Fantasy 7, but I just never got into it. I don't know. There's just something about non-mainline games that are specifically for mobile that are developed to get money out of people. It just feels kind of dirty to me. And I mean, if it comes out and it's great and you can have a great experience without spending money and it's just like a really solid game, like maybe I'll check it out. But on its surface, I'm not really interested.
I I think my issue with Ever Crisis is the gacha aspect. Like if that game, if Ever Crisis was I don't want to say, so it's weird. I like to think of this, right? We have Final Fantasy Remake. This would be Final Fantasy or Final Fantasy 7 Remake, right? Well, this would be Final Fantasy 7 Demake, even though technically it's not really demaking it because it would look better in the PlayStation version.
Hmm.
But if you were to tell me, hey, this is a mobile version of Final Fantasy 7 Remake, just like with those graphics, and then of course the fight scenes are very similar to Final Fantasy 7 Remake graphics, I would have bought it for $20 or
Likewise.
whatever on
Yep.
iOS or whatever, just
Whatever.
to have that
Yeah.
experience because I still think there's room for classic turn-based like this is and Final Fantasy 7 Remake. But yeah, like I'm with you. Anything that's like gacha related, like I've tried Genshin Impact is the closest I really got into a gacha game, and that's because of the action components to it. But after a while, it's just like no, like it gets to the meta, right? You get a tier list, you get certain characters, and it's like you need this team or else the game sucks for you. So I don't know how I feel about that. We'll have to wait and see. Like I'll test it out, but that's about it. What were we gonna say about the gacha stuff, fan?
Oh, about the news about that supposed canceled Kingdom Hearts game.
Oh, the
It
missing
wasn't
link.
supposed. That
Yeah,
was
it
real, but
was
I don't think that was a
canceled.
Yeah,
gotcha though.
yeah, no, yeah, it was actually
It
supposed to be
was
gotcha.
gacha. Yeah,
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why I was like, I'm glad they canceled it because I would have hated that.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
wouldn't
mean,
play it.
I guess it would depend on how they did the gacha elements too. Because Kingdom Hearts, what was it called? The other mobile Kingdom Hearts game they had was actually not that bad. I think the key or the cards you would get was the only gacha component of it, but you can really go through the whole game, and there was a set story and a good story that tied into the mainline game. It was fine. So if they did missing link exactly like that, I think you would get by like maybe like the gacha components is like the keyblades, but make it so that you can still get by the game and progress in the story. I think it would be a decent game, but it's also the thing that's like the minute I see gacha, I just get like turned off right away. I'm just like
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. That's one thing I hate about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's not a paid gacha game. It's a free gacha game, and to get the blades is a gacha component
Element.
to it,
Mechanic.
like element. Yeah, mechanic. There we go. A gacha mechanic in it, and it sucks because you can get spoilers, but not really spoilers. You can get Cosmos in the game, which is from Xenosaga, and in order to get Cosmos, guess what? She's like a 0.000 like 1% chance to get from these core crystals that you collect. So you're literally just farming these core crystals to try to get it. And oh man, it's just I hate that component of the game. I wish they didn't add that. But in 2018, gacha was the thing, right? Mobile games were going crazy, and unfortunately, that was the thing. Record Keeper was cool though. It was gacha, but Record Keeper was kind of fun.
Final Fantasy record keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I played it for quite some time until I just stopped. I liked going into you kind of it's gacha, but like you would go to play this event in Final Fantasy 7 or 6 or whatever the case might be. I thought that was pretty cool to do that, and then listen to the music, of course. But yeah, that was on the small news right there. There was actually something else, and my train of thought just left because I didn't get to write notes for today's podcast because it was a busy day for me. So, because of that, let's just go ahead and get started with some of our main topics today. Starting off with Sony. So Sony had their earnings report detailing exactly, how much they've sold, all that other good stuff, which we see they had numbers out was sitting at was it 77.7 million units out on PS5, which is after it's not really the 5-year mark yet. November would be the 5-year mark. So almost 5 years at 77.7 million units. That's not bad, right? That's their worldwide numbers. But of course, they were pushed and asked because of tariffs and everything going on, what will happen with PlayStation pricing. And they pretty much just said, hey, we probably will raise the price in later on. They didn't say exactly when, but they said that they were looking into it to see what would be the best, case scenario for raising the price, which I think we've all agreed on that it's not a matter of if they're going to raise the price, it's a matter of when they're going to raise the price, which it like I was thinking about it. The PS5 Pro is what, $700. What would they raise it
Yep.
to? Will they do the Xbox thing where Xbox pretty much went up by almost $200?
I bet it wouldn't be any more than 8.
So just like $100, man. Because could you imagine it being $900 for a PS5 Pro?
I can't.
No,
At,
that's crazy.
yeah, at that point, it's like, we hate to say it, but it's like, why not just buy a PC at that point? Because $900, you're almost there. You're like
Right.
75% way there to buying a good PC. What were we gonna say, Fan?
Well, I was just gonna say, imagine they raise the prices, right? And then you know how like consoles get cheaper as they're out
They
longer,
used to.
They used
right?
to, yeah.
Yeah, just imagine they raise in price and then like, oh, we're gonna drop the price because it's 7 years into its lifespan or whatever,
Yeah.
or 8 years in lifespan, and then you just drop it back to like the regular price of what it was when they first released.
Yeah.
Price drop.
It's a price drop.
Hey, I wouldn't put past businesses to do that nowadays, unfortunately, because the greediness of businesses, that's just really what they do. But yeah, like it's funny you mentioned that. I was gonna mention that before, that this past generation and the previous generation was really the first time where nothing price dropped. The Switch stood the same exact price throughout its whole basically lifespan. The only thing that would change was they added bundles where you technically got a free game like during like Black Friday. But sometimes they added bundles where you pay more, but you save like $20 off the game. PlayStation has done that so far. There hasn't been a PlayStation price drop. Microsoft has already done their price increase, so they've already increased the price there. PS4 generation, I guess technically the regular PS4 went from $399 to $299, and then the PS4 Pro came out, but that was really about it. And I guess that was the PS4 Slim that came out to $299. But that was really it. There wasn't the big price drops like they used to, where PlayStation 2 came out at, I believe, what was it, $300? And then towards the end of its lifespan, it was $100 you can get it for. So it had huge decreases there, where this generation, forget it. And PS3 also had some price decreases too, as well over time. Different variations made it
Cheaper
cheaper.
models.
Yeah. This is the first time in well, not the first time, but that's about it.
No question.
Oh,
Don't forget,
let's
like 4 times more space too. It wasn't just OLED.
Yeah. Oh, there might be a pause in the live recording here. Looks like I lost connection for like a split second. Gotta love.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta love Spectrum internet. They're not as reliable as Frontier in this area. So yeah. That's the only thing I hate about like communities, is like you have to go with whatever they give you, or else you're kinda, I don't know if it's like that where you live, Brian, but that's kinda how it is over here. They partner up with certain internet companies. Anyways, that's all
Don't you live in like a community? Like, don't
Mhm.
you live like with like a? Yeah. See, I live like in a house like that's by itself, so I can get whatever I want.
Well, I mean, they'll have like the community, which is like oh, I get what you're saying. Like it's a house that's not in a community, right? Like,
Correct.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, he's got his community's got an HOA and all that stuff, so they
Yeah. I don't have an HOA.
yeah.
yeah.
But
They're
not
like, you
not
don't even
every
get this in
HOA is
Montana.
like that. My parents has an HOA and they don't. But that's back in Kansas.
Yeah,
Who
where I
knows?
used
Maybe
to,
it's a Midwest thing.
where I used to live, it was the same thing. Like they didn't have a partner with any internet company, so you can choose whichever one. But I mean, I
Mhm.
can't complain. It's free, right? So
Yeah, that's true.
can't
That's
complain
true.
for that. All right. But yeah, like price increases. It kind of sucks that we're in this world. And here's my thing, though. I am of the mindset that regardless of tariffs, I think even if tariffs were to go back down, I think they're just going to keep the price point because if they continue to sell, what's the incentive to drop the price if they're gonna just continue to sell anyways? And I think that's where
Oh,
we're
yeah.
at, unfortunately, with businesses. It's like, oh, you're buying my Xbox Series X for $700. Why would I, you know, well, I guess it's a bad example because Xboxes are not selling, but
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
know,
say Xbox is like they're the last people that should be raising their prices. They should be
yeah,
lowering them, but they're
yeah,
not, and
exactly. All
it is
right,
what it
No,
is.
it's like going to the grocery store, buying
yeah,
eggs,
yeah,
right? They're like $4 a carton, $5 a carton. Once the whole egg situation, normalizes,
hmm,
those farmers that sell those eggs, they're like, hey, we're actually making more money. People need eggs. Do we really need to drop the price?
yeah,
Supply and demand, supply and demand. They're like,
yeah,
well, maybe we'll drop it, but just a little bit to where people aren't complaining anymore. But we're
yeah.
still gonna
You won't be
be,
back to
you know,
where you're
it's not
at.
gonna be back to what it was like last year or the year before.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, hey, that
you're not
was
gonna get
all. You know,
$2 a carton.
the whole pandemic turn was that like prices went crazy and we've never really fully recovered from all those pricing. It's just yeah, it might have gone down some, like certain things went down, but they never went back to how they were, unfortunately. So
No, because
and
companies realize, hey, these are
mhm,
things that people need, and if they still need it,
yeah,
why should I take a hit to my profit?
exactly. Sony's gonna be like, hey, people need PS5s, so why should I take a hit? You know. They need to be able to play Ghost of Yotai day one versus next year on the PC. No, I mean I don't know. Like I think the only way Sony would go back to like an older price, or any of these companies really would go back to like well, I guess Sony, it's really it. The only reason they would go back to like a cheaper price would be if their units start decreasing in sales, and maybe they see like Xbox is increasing in sales, or like honestly, if I was Microsoft, the minute Sony increases their price, I would be like, hey, guess what, guys? We decided to make a smart decision. We're gonna actually decrease our Xbox again. That would be like, a that's publicity. News outlets will cover that, and then a lot of people might go ahead and be like, well, I'd rather buy the Xbox that's like $200 cheaper or whatever the case might be.
There's no law against like manipulation on that, like manipulating your price to force it and then returning it back. Like there's some like fiduciary responsibility to like act in a
Mm,
way that is beneficial to the like business and not just to like bait. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel
yeah.
like there'd be some law against
No,
that.
I
I
don't think
mean,
so.
yeah, I don't
Because
think
then
there's
you're gonna
a
have people just going back and forth all the time.
yeah.
Because
Well,
their responsibilities to their shareholders.
yeah.
Right.
And it's still like
So
a
they've met their fiduciary responsibility by trying to meet their shareholders like me needs. And if increasing the price is what it does, then yeah, if they market it to her like, hey, Sony increased their price, we increased ours too, but just for good faith, we're gonna reduce our price,
yeah.
for the gamers, but in all honesty, they're still doing it for the shareholders because it's just a marketing thing to like, sell more units.
Yeah,
And
and
I
for
could see them doing that. They could do that. Like if Sony says, "Hey, we're gonna increase our price to kind of match what Microsoft is doing," and then Microsoft comes out like, "Hey, you know what? Yes, we're increasing our prices, but they're going to change it to where like we're going to be cheaper than the PS5. We'll still be cheaper than PlayStation."
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean I think as a competitive standpoint, I feel like I guess that's not illegal.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a, somebody who knows the law like that, so I wouldn't be, don't take my advice for that, but like I assume it's not illegal and just for competition wise, like I'm sure companies and businesses do that all the time.
No, yeah. I mean, look at GPUs. Nvidia and
True.
AMD have an MSRP, but the manufacturers can kind of put whatever price they want on it
Hmm. True. And they've changed prices multiple times when something
all the time.
launches. I've seen. I remember. I think was it when the 7000 series Radeon cards came in. Nvidia dropped some of their pricing on certain things to kind of like balance it out because
Mhm.
of the competition. So yeah, that's true. GPU market's a good way to look at it because a lot of that happens in that market. Yeah. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. As of right now, PlayStation's holding on. I still think my theory is going to be correct, where sometime in June they'll probably go ahead and raise the prices. They'll wait for that amazing state of play they'll do in the summer, and then they're like, yeah, by the way, silently we're going to increase prices everywhere, not just America, but worldwide.
I mean, technically, it's more expensive everywhere else than here anyway. That's why most people buy stuff here when they travel and they visit here. It's cheaper here, so they can take it back home.
Yeah, true. I think even with the price increase, it's probably still cheaper overall when you factor in like the different taxes and everything like that other countries got to pay. All right, moving on to our next topic. There wasn't like a lot of news out there this week. There's some like minor news, and I had to pick and choose. But I wanted to do something a little bit more fun, and I kind of like doing just normal talk when we do our podcast. Like we do report on news and stuff like that, kind of give our thoughts on this. But in this case, I want to actually get an opinion here. I guess we always talk about our opinion, but I want to know, what are you guys hoping to get with Nintendo Switch 2, Switch Online, GameCube, virtual console thing, or Nintendo Classics, whatever they called it. So before we go ahead and give our prediction and our thoughts or what we want to see available on GameCube, which is kind of funny because we were talking about N64 right before the podcast. This was already what I had planned before then, because I was actually kind of in my head, I was just thinking like, man, like this game would be cool. This game would be cool. I was like, you know what? Let me see what everybody else thinks should show up on the GameCube Switch Online. I'm gonna go ahead and read off what is coming or what we know is coming, and then we'll go ahead and give our thoughts from there on. Starting off with, of course, the first 3 games we'll receive at launch, which is The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker, F-Zero GX. Sorry, I'm reading it. By
Soul
the way,
Calibur 2.
This list is from GameSpot, and I'm looking at their description. It's actually wrong. Because it says, some of it's wrong. So check out this description. It says, initially released in 2002, Wind Waker's cartoonish style and gameplay won over fans and spawned sequels and spin-offs with 3DS titles like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks.
Isn't that just a DS game? Those games were just DS games.
Those are just DS games, and GameSpot has it as 3DS games. Right away I saw that, I was like, those are not. That, and no, like when Wind Waker first came out, fans were not happy about Wind Waker. I don't know if you guys remember that time. People wanted what they showed off.
They wanted Adult Link.
Yep.
They wanted Twilight Princess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they had showed off that tech demo. Yep. And people were upset with Wind Waker. So like, this is false right there. But anyways, that's just a little nitpick there. F-Zero GX. And we have Soul Calibur 2. So those 3 games will be available at launch. Now, the games that they showed off coming later on to Nintendo Switch 2, Switch Online, GameCube, Nintendo Classics, that is a long name, is Super Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, a game that everybody should play, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon Coliseum, and Chibi Robo. And I thought they showed off. Wait, did I say? Oh yeah, I did say Pokemon Coliseum. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, those were the games that they showed off in like the little like reel where they just showed like the box art for all of that. So now that we know those games are coming, what games do you think should come to Nintendo Switch Online, GameCube? And we'll all take turns. We'll each say one game and we'll go around, and then we'll just keep going like a round robin. Let's start with you, Ash. Welcome to the podcast. We'll start with you. What game do you want to see coming to Nintendo Switch Online for GameCube?
The real version of Tales of Symphonia, since that was the best version out of all of them.
Man,
but that's not
already hard. Yeah,
that's not gonna that's not gonna happen whatsoever, because the Switch edition, of course. But hey,
I make it know. I mean, we have Mario. We have Mario 64, and we also have it on 3D All Stars. So
that's true.
It's possible.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm sure there's something else out there that's available.
Oh, I mean, you already said Mario Sunshine is already coming to GameCube and NSO. That's also on Mario All Stars as well. So yeah.
Yes, there's another game, and then with Sega games, right? Yeah, like Streets of Rage and stuff like that. That's available to like Sega Classics and all that.
Castlevania stuff. Collection, the Castlevania Sega Genesis game is also in the Castlevania Legacy Collection or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you never know.
Yeah.
It's possible. Possible. All right. Brian, let's go to you.
We all know my answer. It's been said, but billions of times. The correct answer, not correct. That's too condescending.
Eternal Darkness, I assume.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. I recently posted a top 20 list of my top favorite games of all time, and I cannot overstate how amazing Eternal Darkness is, and there's no other game like it. Like, yeah, it's like kind of survival horror, kind of, but it's more actiony than that, and there's just like nice puzzles in there. It's not terribly difficult, but it just has a great vibe to it. All this sanity stuff that happens, the combat's fun, the story is really interesting, the characters are really good, they're top-notch performances, like voice acting, especially considering the year that it came out. This is a GameCube game. I think it came out in 2002, I think, or 2001. I actually just learned that the voice actress of the main person in that is somebody, like a really famous voice actress that I like. I can't remember who it is, but yeah, if that game comes, like if we're doing a podcast and Wario tweets Eternal Darkness coming to Nintendo Switch GameCube, I will jump out of my seat and I will do a Kool-Aid man through my doors to my basement. I will run through them and and just like start throwing stuff, and I'll be so happy. So that's my answer.
I think the younger crowd doesn't know who Kool-Aid Man is. Unfortunately,
True.
They will never know the perfection of Kool-Aid Man.
Hey, what age range? Because I've been knowing him since I was born.
I mean, you're now considered an old man because you were born at the
And what are we?
We're ancient.
I am considered as a Zillennial these days because I neither act as a millennial nor a Zoomer, so I don't know where to consider myself in that category.
I think we're
millennials.
We're so much in our bubble. We are millennials, yeah. We're so much in our bubble. We're like, oh yeah, we're not that old. But then like I go and look at my kids and see like their stuff, and there's a lot of things they don't know. We're like, oh man, like I remember. I'll never forget this day. One day we were in Costco and the DirecTV guy comes in and is like, who's your cable company? I said, oh, I don't have cable. And this was like years ago. And then my son, like, we walked by, my son's like, Dad, what's cable? I was like, oh man. I was like, oh yeah, so cable is this ancient technology that we used to use. Like no, but I explained everything. I was like, those ads.
Let's go back to the fun topics. Let's talk about GameCube games again. Something else that's old like we are.
Oh man, but yeah, that's funny. All right, Fan. What game would you like to see?
It'd be cool if they brought the GameCube Resident Evil 0.
Oh yeah, good idea.
That's on Switch though too.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, then
not that it's impossible. It's coming, but it is there already.
Star Fox Adventures.
There you go.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good pick.
What's the name of that dinosaur? Tricky the dinosaur. That little name Tricky, I think. Yeah.
The little
little brat.
Yeah, the
little Triceratops.
Triceratops. There we go.
See, that'd be a cool first party game to put on there.
I remember the water in that game looked incredible. I was like blown away by how good the water looked in that game.
Always I still think Crystal Chronicles has the best water. I mean, we played through the game all together, and that water when we would go on the boat just looked amazing. Like
really, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles has good water, huh?
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know if it was emulation that did it, but Jesus Christ,
no,
it is
just
really
the
good.
water. Yeah, I mean,
I like Mario Sunshine's water too.
Yeah, people keep they don't remember that the GameCube hardware was literally very powerful. It was more powerful than the PS2. The only thing that held the GameCube behind was the small disc.
The small disc,
disc.
Which I'm curious why though. I mean, I'm assuming the form factor, of course, like how big the console was.
Oh, how big
I wonder
how big like the file sizes could be.
I'm sure it had to be compressed.
Yep. Like Resident Evil 4, right, was 2 discs on GameCube, where it's just 1 DVD on PS2.
Was it really? I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was 2 discs.
Yeah,
so they could have done DVDs. They could have done DVDs, but
so I think what I might be mistaken.
The Panasonic Q exists.
Yeah, that was in Japan only.
True.
Yeah,
I know, but it exists, which means Nintendo could have done DVDs.
They could have,
but they didn't.
They chose not to. Yeah.
The only
was
reason,
it too expensive?
Sony did it. Well, yes, because DVD players were insanely expensive.
That's what I thought.
Well, I think that
Sony made their own.
They want to make
Sony
their own
made
money.
their own DVD
Yeah,
players,
that's
so
true.
it's easy for them to put it into a PS2. the only Panasonic Q only exists because Nintendo partnered with Panasonic because Panasonic made DVD players to do it.
Yeah.
Too bad they didn't partner with them at the very beginning.
Well, I think doesn't correct me if I'm wrong, but was Sony had the rights to DVDs as well? I know Blu-ray they created and they invented Blu-rays, but did they also invent DVDs as well?
I don't know if they had the.
I don't think so.
I don't think they.
I thought it was Toshiba. Was it? Who was HD DVD?
Well, actually, no, you're
Was that a
right. Yeah,
company?
because it made no sense that Sony would make Blu-ray and then HD DVD would come out. So yeah, it would have to be a
Right.
different company. You're right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, because then why wouldn't
So
Sony do that?
DVDs, it looks like it's made by one guy, but it says developed by Sony, Panasonic, Philips, and Toshiba. So
Oh,
it's like
Okay,
a
I said Toshiba at
multi-company,
least.
okay.
like did it. So yeah,
Okay.
It's like an
Interesting.
amalgamation of
yeah,
a bunch
they,
of
they
different
probably all
companies.
help out.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I think Resident Evil, I could be mistaken, but I thought Resident
Even
Evil
the first
Remake
one.
was also 2
It
discs.
was.
It was
I
one
think you
was
are. I
Chris
think you're
and then
right.
one was
Yeah.
Jill, right? Yeah. So
Which one?
Resident Evil
Resident
Remake,
Evil.
the original Resident Evil Remake.
Oh yeah. It was Chris and Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember how
So
good that game looked when that came out? That was mind blowing how good that
yeah,
game
the
looked.
lighting and like when the lightning would
Yeah.
hit through, you're like, oh wow, that was amazing. Luigi's Mansion too had great lighting with
Yeah, that
the
looked great too.
effects. Yeah. Yeah, there was quite a few games that had 2 discs on GameCube, but that was the limitation was that. One thing that always got me was Resident Evil 4 on GameCube had puddle effects, where PS2 has no puddle effects at all. When
Hmm.
Leon's
Oh, wow.
walking in the water, it doesn't move or anything. And I think they removed the water altogether. That's what it was. So like in the spots where there was like puddles, and then Leon's walking, you'll see like the stuff. And unfortunately, the version of Resident Evil 4 that's available like on Nintendo Switch and all that was the Wii version, which was based on the PS2 version, so you don't get the same effects.
Mm.
That's the
crazy.
lesser
See?
version. That's usually what they do, right? They always base these remasters off the lesser version instead of the good version. That's why we need emulation to stay around.
Exactly.
All right, but yeah, Star Fox Adventures would be cool, I think, because I've only played like the intro, and that's about it, and I enjoyed it. It seems very like Zelda. It's like Star Fox Zelda, basically.
It is.
Yeah, so but I would
Originally, it was
enjoy it.
Dinosaur Planet, then they shoehorned Star Fox in there.
Yeah, Miyamoto kind of forced them to do it. They're like, hey, I think you should add Star Fox in it, and then they're like, oh yeah, I guess that would be cool. They're like, no, I think you should add Star Fox. It wasn't a question; it was a statement. All right. So my turn. I think, and I would hope that this game would come. It's possible it will, possibly it won't. But that is The Legend of Zelda: Four Swords Adventure. Mainly because the only reason why I think it might not is it had GBA interaction. So in order for you to play 4 players, you had to connect a GBA to it. So I was trying to figure out how would they do that. They would have to do something inside the emulation to allow you to go ahead and play that game and have 4 individual screens of GBA pop up. Because when you would go into caves, what would happen is you would look down at the GBA screen and then you're playing on a GBA. And then when you exit the cave, you'll look back at the TV and then you'll be able to play all of that. So technically speaking, it would work if you do like game chat, kind of, right? But I don't think game chat works that way. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I got to relook at game chat now that I think about it, because correct me if I'm wrong. Game chat, it wasn't there like a part where they showed one big screen and then they showed 4 like smaller
Yeah.
screens?
Yeah.
Okay, so like technically speaking, they could do the one big screen be like the main screen, and then the 4 smaller screens in game chat, each person would have their individual GBA screens to use for Four Swords Adventure. So,
Definitely possible.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely possible. And, like, honestly, when it comes to like the amount of code they may have to implement to it, especially for emulation, this is certainly possible. It's just I think it won't be for a while until they actually implement that later on or
Yeah.
something. I can imagine the game you're asking could be like will not like come to fruition probably like by like 2016 or 2017. I feel because they got to work out the kinks for that stuff.
2016, 2017? You mean 2027?
Hmm?
You mean
Oh, my bad.
2027?
Yeah, my bad. 2026 and 2027.
Going
Yeah,
back
I'm
to
already
the past, Ash.
yeah, damn. Jesus. Yeah.
And that would be cool because if they can implement that, I wouldn't mind them having the real version of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles available on Nintendo Switch Online versus the HD version that's not that good. Because that would be the best way to experience it. And I think with Game Chat, it will work perfectly because you can play online now and not have to worry about any of the issues. Well, maybe there might be similar issues that like what we had when we were playing, which wasn't that bad. I mean, we played for the most part with very few issues. I want to say there was maybe 1 or 2 times where we had to like restart because it desynced the session. But yeah, anyways, yeah, Legend of Zelda Four Swords Adventure would be pretty cool, and I think that's a game that a lot of people haven't played. So being able to have it on Nintendo Switch Online, I think would be a huge plus, especially being able to play online with other people. So, all right, back to you, Ash. What other game would you like to see on GameCube Online?
I want that one snowboard game to come into GameCube. I forgot
Is
the
it
name of the game.
SSX Tricky?
Yes. Yeah.
Or because
That
there was
was.
two, wasn't there 1080 Snowboard Kids or something like that? Or 1080
I never played
Snowboard?
that. I never played
There's
that one.
1080 snowboarding.
1080 Snowboard
Okay.
Kids. That's 1080
I
Snowboard. I think that's.
I
don't
I
think
know
it's-
1080 Snowboard was on the N64, but I
Was
didn't
that?
know they
I
had
thought it
one
was
for the.
GameCube.
Yeah. It's on the 64.
There's one on both.
there's one
I
on
think there's a
both.
1080 on GameCube as well. There's one on 64 and GameCube.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's called 1080 Avalanche, I think.
Oh, Avalanche. Oh, so they had a
Okay.
sequel. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I remember 1080 be my game back then for N64. That was great. But
Work your body, just work your body,
Work
work your body.
Yeah, straight up, it was fun. But yeah, SS Tricky. Yeah, it was a really fun game, and the only way I found out about it was when I had another game called NBA Street on the GameCube,
Mhm.
and normally in older games they will have trailers in the extra section, and one of those trailers was the SS Tricky one, and the way they showcased it was so freaking awesome. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, Mom, Dad, we gotta get this. We gotta go to at the time EB Games and pick this up and stuff. So we first rented out at Hollywood Video, and then once we got that, then we went to EB Games and grabbed a copy. And me and my brother were just having a blast with that game. So hopefully they bring that to. I mean, I hope, because I think at that point, if they're gonna put a third party game into the NSO, they probably need to come in agreement with the developer and maybe like ask for agree on some royalties or something like that if they're gonna put their game up in there somewhere. I don't know how their dealings work, but I hope it happens. So, but yeah.
All right. What about you, Bryant?
I'm gonna say I'm trying not to be too obvious because like there's a couple really really obvious ones that are there. I'm trying to think of another like obscure one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with another obscure one. I'll say the Beautiful Joe series 1 and 2. Those would be really great to have, especially just Capcom's resurgence, either Virtual Console or remastering them or whatever as like a new release to pay for. Just a quick note though, I can't tell if it's a good sign or a bad sign, bad omen perhaps, that you have these games that are on GameCube, Switch Online that exist solely there. So for example, Mario, I'm sorry, not Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion. I'd love to see that remastered and put on Switch 2 as like a real release. Same thing with Wind Waker, obviously, like bring the HD port, make us pay for it. The fact that they're just kind of shoveling these onto the Switch Online makes me worried that that's the game we're getting and that's the end of it. I mean, like I think they've stated that that's not what they're suggesting, but it just kind of, I don't know, makes me a little worried. But yeah, so I'll stick with another one that's a little under the radar, and I'll say Beautiful Joe series 1 and 2.
That's a really really good choice. Like Beautiful Joe, I remember back in the days, like when I
And
first played it,
Shinagogo
was in Walmart. They had like a demo, and I would always go and play it. And I was like, man, this game's pretty awesome. And eventually I rented it. But yeah, Beautiful Joe. I never played the second one, but the first one I played and really did enjoy the game. Platinum Games made that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was like, I think that was the start of their pretty much going up there. Which is cool. Or maybe they weren't platinum.
Wasn't it Clover?
Was it? Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it wasn't platinum, but it's Hideki Kamiya,
Kamiya?
who became the CEO or who created Platinum Games. It was him
Right.
who created that. So yeah, they weren't platinum yet because it was the same people who made or at least
Okami and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what about you, Fan?
I'm jumping between two.
Say them both. You can cheat.
So
There's two super obvious ones.
I'd like to see Twin Snakes.
There you go.
Wasn't even thinking about that. That would be awesome, actually. I mean, are there any outside of
the original?
No, what am I thinking? Outside of Contra, are there any other like Konami games on Nintendo Switch Online at all? Because we were talking about Bomberman before this, which is Konami, and they're not on N64, which they should. Like we mentioned, Bomberman Heroes specifically, which is the better one, should be on N64 Online. But I don't know if any other Konami games are available outside of Contra.
Yeah, I'm thinking too. Yeah, I can only think of Contra.
Yeah, because Twin Snakes would be awesome, and that's the one game that hasn't been anywhere but GameCube. It's those games are just stuck on that console for life. Because we got MGS1 in the like collection and stuff like that, unless they come out with like a part 2 collection, which they are coming out with a part 2 collection, but unless they add Twin Snakes to it, because Twin Snakes is MGS1, but they change up like some gameplay mechanics and things like that. So it's definitely worth playing. And in my opinion, because of the changes of the gameplay mechanics, I do think it plays better. I do like the music in the OG MGS1 better, but it does have like a lot of pros when it comes to it. So
I just got
like
some
that.
hot news off the presses that I think is apropos. Nintendo just put out what the improvements are to those games that they're bringing out free improvements for
GameCube.
No, sorry,
for
the Switch games that are getting improvements, and something kind of made my stomach drop. Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, visuals optimized for the Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TVs for improved image quality and HDR. There's nothing on there about frame rate. And if they drop the ball and they don't improve the frame rate, I don't know what to say about that. Because then you look at Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, frame rate improved for smoother movement on Nintendo Switch 2, but that's not on the Zelda games.
Here. Yeah.
They need to be more transparent on what they're actually improving with those free updates.
So
that's all I'm saying.
That's what this is.
Yeah, let us go one more round around this, and we'll actually switch to this because I have the whole list put up right here from Nintendo's website, so we can actually go through this whole list. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do my next game. Now I'm here like I lost my thought of what game it was.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I just thought that was very hot off the presses news we had to discuss.
Yeah. Oh man, what was it? I can't remember, so I'm gonna go with another one that was in my mind that I wanted to mention. Because I think it's still stupid that we don't have this yet, and we have a sequel coming soon. Metroid Prime 2 should be available on there because there's no reason we have Metroid Prime, but not 2 and 3, and then we have Metroid Prime 4 coming out. Like we should have everything available.
That would scare me though, because then that would go in the Wind Waker camp. Or does that mean they're never going to bring back 2 and 3 and like remaster them? So that would be another scary thing.
I was going to say, I'm thinking they're going to shadow drop 2 and 3 remaster before 4 comes out. I'm pretty sure that's their strategy. I hope. I mean, that's the right way to do it. If they want to make money off of you. I mean,
I learned something about that. About basically, just Metroid Prime 2, and I didn't realize. So, who here has played Metroid Prime 2? Has everybody here, or no?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay. Metroid Prime 2...
I remember it being really hard.
Yes. Metroid Prime 2 is hard. It's a lot harder than Metroid Prime 1. I remember I got stuck, had to take a break, and then I went back to it because it was that hard.
Because it's death everywhere.
Yeah. So, apparently, in the Metroid Prime collection in Wii, when you do Metroid Prime 2, they give you a normal mode and a hard mode. Hard mode was what the normal mode, or what the only mode was available on GameCube there. It might be one of those games. Well, there really wasn't a selector, but like anybody who's a Fire Emblem fan knows that there's a huge issue with, and it was like that for a while, where games in Japan were harder than they were over here, and they would tune it down. Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, and Radiant Dawn, specifically Radiant Dawn, is infamous for the mistranslation of normal mode.
Yes.
Right? Normal mode in Radiant Dawn is actually hard mode in Japan. No, wait, hold on. What was it?
Hard mode is normal mode in Japan. Is that what you mean? Like the hard for
No, I'm
us is
sorry. So
actually
no, it
normal
was a
for them?
mistranslation. So yeah, hard mode in Japan was normal mode over here. So they
Okay.
actually mistranslated it. So when you
Okay.
go ahead and you choose a game, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play normal mode. You will get destroyed. It is so hard that a lot of people had to go down one level. But yeah, it's a mistranslation in that game. It's Infamous, which is if you ever play Radiant Dawn on normal, you're like, man, why am I dying so much? And it's because of that. And of course, hard mode is like extreme mode. It is even the worst. It's like the worst thing ever. But anyways, yeah,
which I feel happy about because I always play hard mode on both those
Mhm.
games. Didn't realize the mistranslation was actually in extreme mode. I'm like, damn, okay,
Yeah,
beating this
it's-
game in extreme. I got bragging
Yeah.
rights then. Okay.
yeah, those games were hard. But yeah, Metro Prime 2 was a hard game. I would be curious to see because if they put it in just like that on Nintendo Switch Online, I think a lot of people will probably give up because of how hard it is. They would have to either somehow do the version they had in the Metro Prime Collection, which I doubt they would do, or the better option would be just remaster it, right? And then you can have the difficulty slider there, which would make sense.
Mega Man 2 had that too, where
Mhm.
hard mode was normal mode in Japan, and they created a normal mode for us that was a little easier
Yeah.
for us Americans.
Because Mega Man 2 is pretty hard. Like, well, a lot of
It
Mega
is
Man games are
actually.
hard. Mega Man and
Yeah,
Base, I
2
still think it's the
especially.
hardest one out of all the Mega Man games. Like, anytime you ask people that bring up Mega Man and Base, that's huge Mega Man fans, they'll tell you this is the hardest one. I mean, I played it on stream and I had to use save states. It's that hard because there's just some stupid design. Like, so, I mean, it's doable, right? You can definitely beat it without save states, but how hard it is, it's just kind of like, come on. So, very, very hard. Do you want to go one more round? Or you want to go ahead and go into
Sure.
these free updates? All right. Go
Let's
Ash.
do one more.
Oh shoot! I thought we were going straight to the news. All right, shit. Let me see.
I can go if you have to think.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I would like
Okay.
type in GameCube
I'm just gonna
list
say-
to see what.
I'm just
what
gonna say the
games-
two that we're all thinking that are the blatantly obvious ones, and that's Super Smash Brothers Melee and Mario Kart Double Dash. Like those are.
Double Dash I can see happening. Melee definitely not.
You never know. You never know. Maybe
It's just mainly because I know Nintendo's distraught for the Smash Melee community. That's the only reason why I'm based off of that. There's so much drama behind that stuff. So
I had a dream, and in
Oh.
this dream, right, we get announced a new Smash Bros. But there's only all it says is a year, right? The year I couldn't see because it's a dream, right? But they said in the meantime, here is Smash Bros 64 and Melee to hold
Nice.
you over. And
I like this
they
dream.
they can do that, right? They can say, hey, we're gonna put these games on there to hold you over so you can play these older Smash games. And there's also Ultimate that you can play while you wait for the new Smash game. I think that'd be awesome.
Brawl is still stranded though.
I hope so.
Because there's no Wii
Right.
thing. That was another topic that I was actually thinking of talking about. But I was like, no, we'll wait for another time. Because I personally was thinking about it. I do a lot of driving now, so I do a lot of thinking.
You have a lot of time to think.
Yes, and unfortunately, that's where a lot of this comes from. And I was like, man, I was thinking about. I was like, I don't think we will have a Nintendo Switch Online, but that'll be
It's too big. They'd be too big games.
It's that, and the other thing is more about just gameplay. Yes, you have gyro controls on the Joy-Cons, but it's not the same as the motion control on Wii because the Wii was a lot more accurate because of that infrared sensor. But anyways, well, that's a topic for another day. Okay, so you went. Ash, did you think of anything else, or you want to go to Fan?
Go to Fan.
All right.
Okay. I've got two. One obscure, one not so obscure.
Mhm.
So Skies of Arcadia,
I don't know why I didn't think
and
about
then Robotech Battlecry,
that. Okay.
because I played that a lot on the GameCube.
All right.
And you don't see a lot of aerial fighters like games.
You don't. There's only really Ace Combat now. That's it.
Yeah. And if we get a new Star Fox, who knows?
Yeah. Which somebody mentioned Star Fox Assault.
I did.
You said Adventure, not Assault.
Oh, Adventure. Yeah, Assault would be the other one. Yeah.
Assault would be the other one
That would be
because
the one,
that's more
yeah.
a traditional Star Fox game.
Yeah.
With
That's
some
where you
ground
get like in the
levels.
tank and all that stuff too, right?
Yep. All right, Ash.
I was looking off the list for my Dolphin emulator, and there's one particular game I hope to God it comes to NSO, but there's some doubt in me that it would never happen, and that's Sonic Riders. Please, for the love of God, make this happen. Oh my
Sonic
God.
Heroes was good too. I like that.
Yeah, and
Sonic
Heroes. Oh, Heroes. I think
there's
is
that
my favorite
rumor.
Sonic game. So
There's that rumor that
They're
there's a
bringing that back.
remake, or a remaster of that Sonic
I hope
Heroes.
so.
I wouldn't like. I
But
like it.
Sonic Riders was such an amazing game, and then after that, when they did Zero Gravity,
Mhm.
it was even more awesome too, because it was so Sonic Riders, but a totally
Yeah.
different mechanic. And then they messed everything up when they brought Sonic Free Riders on the Xbox with the Kinect bull crap. And at that point, Sega was thinking, oh, I guess people don't like Sonic Riders anymore. Let's just don't make another one. So I'm like, bro, seriously? And then finally, the new Sonic All-Stars racing game that's coming out.
Yeah.
Apparently they have those those air gears again from Sonic Riders, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
I want Sonic Riders to just come back full force, full swing, because I missed it. I missed the music. I missed the character. I missed Jet. I missed the other characters. I just love everything about it. So bring it to NSO. Sega, make it happen. I know you can. Okay, I'm just saying.
All right, then I'll close us out with 3 games, right? 2 of them to stay on the topic, and then 1 of them that somebody else who listens to the podcast will probably like that I'm shouting out that game. The first 2 will be, since we're on the topic of Sega, Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, right? If we don't get a Dreamcast, online for Nintendo Switch Online, which would be Dreamcast would be awesome, but if we don't, and we're gonna do Skies of Arcadia, why not do Sonic Adventure 1 and 2? Like, those were ported over. We've got Sonic Adventure DX, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I think that would be awesome to have it in there, because as of right now, the only way to play those games is PC,
Steam.
right?
Yep.
I guess Xbox
And PlayStation
360
3.
also, and PS3, through streaming.
They're not modern anymore.
Yeah, it's like that's really the only way to play it. And you could, like I said, you could play it on Xbox, I guess Series X, because through backwards compatible, that was available.
Yep, it is. Yep.
But yeah, that's kind of it. Like, we don't have any other way to play. If you don't have really Xbox or PC, then you're kind of like, SOL. And it'll be nice to have it on Nintendo, because every other Sonic game is available on Nintendo Switch. Why not have this on there as well? So that'd be cool. And the last one would be Custom Robo. Custom Robo is a game that I know a lot of people adore. A lot of people love that game, and I think it would be kind of cool to have that on there. It's a more obscure game, but you get it out on Nintendo Switch Online. Usually, I don't know about you guys. Usually, if a game comes out on Nintendo Switch Online, I'll try it out, and if I
Why
don't
not?
like it, I was just like, whatever. And that's kind of the cool thing about Nintendo Switch Online, because you'll find games that you never knew you liked. You might find games that you wish you played before, like what's the Pokemon Puzzle League game, the original Pokemon Puzzle League game. The girl with
Was
the
it called
lipstick.
Pokemon Puzzle League?
No.
What's
So
a lipstick?
Pokemon
What are you
Puzzle
talking
League,
about?
yeah, Pokemon Puzzle League is based off another game, but when they brought it to the
Yeah, Tetris
US,
Attack.
no, it's not actually Tetris Attack. Tetris Attack
Panel
was
Depon?
changed. Yes, Panel Depon.
Panel
There we go.
Depon. Okay.
Yeah, because they turned it to Tetris Attack over here in the US and put Yoshi in it. But yeah, it was Panel Depon, which I like. I say lipstick because that's her. I think that's one of the characters' name or something like that. Or they have some type of like move that's like that. The little flower that's in Smash Bros is from that Panel Depon. But yeah, that would be kind of cool to have as well. All right, let's go ahead and talk about these free updates that is hot off the press, thanks to our insider, Bryant. No, he's not an insider, but he gets these news quicker than any of us.
I do.
So Nintendo had already announced a bunch of games that were going to have updates to Nintendo Switch 2, or if you play it on Nintendo Switch 2, they'll have these free updates that would improve things for it, but we never knew exactly what. So now there is actually a list of every game and what it's actually going to have. Starting off with ARMS. The update will be available June 5th, so they actually have the release date of it. The update includes visuals optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TVs for improved image quality, frame rate optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 for smoother movement even when playing with 3 or more players, and then HDR support. Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain, also June 5th. Up to 4 people can play in party mode, share locally or share online via game chat. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Visuals optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TVs for improved image quality. HDR support. Game share support. 2 people can play all of the courses, share locally or share online via game chat. Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. Up to 4 people can play 34 games, share locally, or share online via game chat. Game Builder Garage. Visuals optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TVs for improved image quality. Supports Joy-Con 2 mouse controls, which this was something that everybody was predicting was going to happen. That Game Builder Garage would have mouse controls. And it does. New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. Also available June 5th. Basically, everything's going to be available June 5th unless I say otherwise. Updates includes visuals optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TVs, improve image quality, which makes me sad because that would be awesome if it was 120 hertz or 120 frames per second versus 60. But you got to play in 4K. This is the one that Bryant was talking about. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, one of the things he mentioned, shows visuals optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 display and higher resolution TVs for improved image quality. Assuming that just means higher resolution. Frame rate improved for smoother movement on Nintendo Switch 2. Yes. Yes. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is finally playable. The thing I'm sad about, though, is like, what does it mean by optimized for visuals? Are they just upping the resolution? What does that mean by that overall? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Super Mario 3D World has a lot. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Visuals optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TVs for improved image quality. Frame rate optimized for smoother movement on Nintendo Switch 2, including Bowser's Fury. That makes sense because Bowser's Fury, if you ever play in handheld, it's only 30 FPS. But you put it in dock mode, it's 60 FPS. And I didn't like playing Bowser's Fury in handheld. It's one of those things I had to play in dock mode. So I'm assuming, though, because it says including Bowser's Fury, does that mean maybe the regular Super Mario 3D World will play higher than 60 FPS? Like maybe
I'm thinking it might be just be 60, like whether you're in handheld or docked.
Or docked? Because like regular 3D World in handheld is 60. And docked is 60. But Bowser's Fury was 30. And then on dock would have been 60. So like I'm wondering, is now both 3D World and Bowser's Fury, are they both going to be maybe 120 for 3D World and 60 for Bowser's Fury, or maybe both? I mean, I guess one of those things we'll have to find out. But they have game share support, so up to 4 people can play Super Mario 3D World. In Bowser's Fury, 2 people can play together with one player controlling Mario and the other controlling Bowser Jr., and then share locally or online via game chat. Super Mario Odyssey. Visuals optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TV for improved image quality. HDR support, game share support. 2 people can play together with one player controlling Mario, the other controlling Cappy. Share locally or share online via game chat. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TVs for improved image quality. HDR support. And then Link's Awakening, the same thing. So here's my thought, too, on this. And I'm wondering this. I think what happens, so this is a theory, and maybe Ash, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think the way Link's Awakening and Zelda is set for is I don't think they have an unlock frame rate, but rather they have a 60 FPS cap, or maybe it's 30 FPS cap. And what it does, it fluctuates. Yeah, I think it's 30 FPS cap. So it fluctuates.
It can't be 30 FPS cap because it goes to 60 sometimes. Like the game runs at 60 generally. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say 60 FPS cap. I'm wondering if the hardware is still going to brute force it to stay at 60, right? So like the stutters you get will go ahead and keep it at 60, where Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has a 30 FPS cap. What if they're upping it to 60 to kind of get that frame rate? So maybe the frame rate issues might be fixed with that. It's just a theory.
So it will be, regardless, it'll be a fix across the board. It just depends how the devs themselves coded the game's engine to either be just straight up as cap at 30 or be at 60. Because the one example I can say is that for Tales of Symphonia on the PC version, since it's off the PS2 version, that game is capped at 30 still on PC. And what you have to do is that you have to use a mod to unlock it at 60. But the problem is that the engine is not, the physics within that same engine is not made to run at 60. So sometimes the cloth on some of the characters will just like spaz out of nowhere because it wasn't made for that frame rate and stuff. Yeah. So I'm thinking that there were certain games that were only capped at 30. And when they say smoother experience, they're probably referring to like better frame timing on the system. So basically better input, better, smoother experience. Like, you know how sometimes when you're playing a game at 30 FPS, sometimes like Ghost of Tsushima, for example, in your mind, you didn't think it needed 60 because the game felt extremely smooth when playing the game at 30 FPS because of the frame time and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably they're probably going to do something like that to where if there's games already capped at 30, hey, yeah, let's improve that, give it better frame timing, and call it a day. Meanwhile, there's other games that like for Link's Awakening or Zelda's, whatever game you guys were talking about, that you thought it was at 30, but it actually goes above 30. They're probably going to bring that up to 60 FPS since it already has enough power to do so, and the physics engine within that is probably already capped at 60. So
yeah,
there's that. So it's going to be there's going to be a bit of a mixed bag there, and some people have to understand that sometimes devs can't. If the dev wants to make a game that was already made for 30 FPS go up to 60, they have to make sure they do a lot of revisions of the code to make sure all the physics can keep up with 60 FPS, if that makes sense. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
Well, because like I'm looking at this and like ARMS, for example, the biggest issue there was when you play with multiple players, more than two, it would go down to like 30 FPS versus 60, right? The other game that they have for frame rate is, what was it? Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which, yeah, you had a lot of frame rate issues, but I'm wondering, that's a 30 FPS game. Are they upping it to 60 to be in there?
So,
and then you have Super Mario 3D World, which I told you Bowser's Fury runs at 30. Are they upping it to be 60 now? So, and then the other games, anything that fluctuates with frame rate will kind of, stay where it is. It's just the brute force of the Switch 2 will allow it to play at that resolution. Like, for example, like anything that has like a variable, what's right for like resolution, it will go at its like best performance, if that makes sense. Like PlayStation did that, right? PS4 games, when they ran on PS5, they would look better because if it had that dynamic resolution, the power of the PS5 will make it run to its highest value, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. All I'm saying is that it really just depends on the limits of the engine itself that that the dev is using. And the thing is, if they had to go do a lot more work to make sure the game runs good at 60 FPS when it comes to the physics and engine, then at that point that warrants a $10 upgrade, for that at that point, since they're doing a lot more work for that and stuff. So in my opinion, at least, because that's a lot more work that needs to be done. But if it's already, if the limitation is not even there in the first place, and all you need to do is have that extra hardware to push to that limit, then that's fine. So, but yeah, it really just all depends. And then, if anything, a good example I can use is probably Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Switch, because there was already a leak from it saying that, hey, there's already an FPS a 60 FPS unlocker with that. So they're already telling you that, hey, it's there. So once the update comes through with the Switch 2, they just turn that on and boom, there you go. You have your game running at 60 FPS. So they're already prepped for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I guess I would say we'll still have to wait and see, because the wording they use might be a little bit off.
It is.
And there might be hope that the inconsistent frame rate issues that you have with Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom might be fixed by the brute force of the Switch 2. Where these frame rate updates are just upping the frame rate to a higher frame rate than what it already is.
I think they're taking a way safer approach when talking about the frame rate stuff, I think. So, which honestly, it makes sense for Nintendo to say those kinds of things. So, if anything, it's probably going to be what I predicted, where some of them is going to run at a smoother 30, and some of them is going to just run straight up at 60 FPS. Can it go higher? I mean, it depends on the update, of course, and how the game was built. But that's probably what it's going to be.
I mean, I would like they kind of use the Super Mario Wonder little graph to show the difference between 60 and 120. So I'm like, are you gonna update Super Mario Brothers Wonder to 120? Because that would be awesome.
That'd be really cool. That would definitely be another replay 100% again. So
that would be awesome. I would replay it too to do that. Like, just imagine that. It would probably be like 1080p 120 or 1440p 120 if it's possible. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd definitely see that.
Cool.
Oh, is that the list? Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that was it.
For now.
Damn. I thought there was something for Xenoblade Chronicles, bro. Damn.
Not yet.
That's the one that everybody
I'm
is wondering. But like that goes back to what I was thinking. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a variable resolution and like a variable, not refresh rate, but variable frame rate, where it has a dynamic resolution. There we go. If put into the Switch 2, is it gonna go by the Switch 2 components and brute force it? Like, oh, this is what I was gonna ask actually. Fan, you
Yep.
played Scarlet and Violet or you played one of them on your PC. Did you have to do anything to change the settings to get it to run at a consistent frame rate, or did it do it automatically?
I thought you need a mod
no,
to
I
do
didn't
that.
have to do anything.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, see, and that's what I'm wondering, right? Like on paper and in theory, if you put that into more powerful hardware, if it's running that and it has that variable like frame rate, would it not just run at that? Like for example, it's like having a GPU running something at 60 FPS, but the GPU can't handle the 60 FPS for that game, so it lowers that game will run at a lower frame rate. But then when you get the new GPU, you plug that in, right? You play that same game now because that GPU is more powerful. It's going to be able to run at a higher frame rate if it's capped at 60 or run at 60 because that GPU is kind of like more powerful. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Is that a good comparison?
I see what you mean. It makes sense.
Yeah. So in theory, I'm thinking
hope-
like the Switch 2 would be like that as well.
Yeah, I hope so, because that way you don't have to worry about getting like a free update performance patch and just brute force your way through it. But okay, it's just If anything, if fan says that you didn't have to add no mods for like 60
I don't
FPS or
remember
something
doing
like
any
that,
mods.
yeah, then at that point, it looks like that maybe the code logic within the game itself is just looking for, hey, can we go up this frame rate? Oh, we can. All right, let's go up. Do we need to lower the resolution? Oh no. So we have a more powerful hardware. Bet. Let's go even further. So I feel like it's something like that. If maybe
Scarlet and Violet ran like crap because there'll be times it'll be like 10 frames a second.
Okay.
It was real bad.
Yeah, I know. It kind of sucks that people. It kind of sucks that people got to pay $450 to get an actual good experience from the game. So,
I mean, if they could up it to 60, great. But if they could just make that game run stable, people would be a lot happier.
At that point, that'll be a Game Freak problem. So,
well, that will be part of my 12-hour stream. Violet will be on there. Hopefully, I can actually beat the Elite Four and actually beat this game overall. Kind of sad that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Pokemon Legends Arceus on Switch too. I think that game will look gorgeous, man.
I was gonna say the same thing. I'm kind of sad that Legends Arceus is not on this at all. But I guess we have Legends CA coming this holiday season. So there's that. And then they did show Switch 2 that runs 60 FPS, which is another reason why I'm thinking Scarlet and Violet, where it's saying frame rate specifically, it's gonna up it to 60 from 30. Because if Legends ZA is doing 60, definitely this can do Scarlet and Violet at 60. I don't see what the issue is there. But we'll have to wait till June 5th, which is so close.
21 days, I think.
Yes. It's man. I keep looking at my calendar. I was like, man, soon. How many more Thursdays is it?
Like 2 more Thursdays?
Three more.
Yeah. We're gonna count by Thursdays. 3 more Thursdays. See, that sounds better than 21 days, right?
Three more podcasts, or technically 2 more.
Yeah.
And then, because we may not do a podcast on it.
2 more.
Honestly, hey, listen, I can't wait. Like, I already got the days called. I already got the days off with my PTO, so I'm set and ready to go. I'm ready to be at the midnight launch at GameStop. Ooh, it brings you back. I miss those days. Jesus. Maybe I am old James. Who knows? but like, oof, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
You and me both. Soon. Let's go ahead and mention this last bit of news. It's very small news, but figure we'll mention it anyways. I put it in the title. And that's Kingdom Hearts 4. So we talked about it earlier. Missing Link got canceled, but they did show off new screenshots of Kingdom Hearts 4. I laugh at this because this reminds me of when Final Fantasy Versus 13 was in development. Like we would see nothing for years, and then it would show screenshots. Because something got canceled or something got changed, whatever the case might be. In this case, it reminds me of that. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out back in, I think it was like 2018, right? Or was it 2019? Let me double check that. Let me fact check myself. It was 2019. So it came out in 2019. We're almost 6 years, or we are 6 years past since a Kingdom Hearts game. So I wonder when we're gonna get this. And we still haven't seen much of a Kingdom Hearts 4. We don't have really anything when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 4, except for those screenshots, which kind of show the same thing, except they did add a scene of or a screenshot of Mickey, which is kind of cool. So they do show like Mickey as a playable character, which
is he ever a playable character in any of the other games?
in Kingdom Hearts 2 you can, but only if you die. He's kind of like your second like win type of deal. So you play as him to fill up.
So it's a big deal then.
Yeah, it's a huge deal because I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's the only time you get to play as Mickey. And like I said, only if you die, he will come out, and then you have to fight with him to fill up a bar. Then once you fill up the bar, it will kind of like basically raise Sora, and then you get to play as Sora again. So that is a huge deal that you actually get to play as Mickey for the first time.
I don't remember.
I'm surprised they'd reveal it so casually.
You don't remember that in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Apparently, I never died.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
look at you.
I know.
I don't remember ever playing Mickey in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, every time you would die, he would pop up and he'll just come out like Sora, and then you'll play as him with his crazy stuff, and then after that you press the triangle button to do his special, and then that would raise him. But you had to fill up like the little bar there. That's all he was. It was there, and then if you died again, then that's it. It's you had to load from the beginning of the battle or from a previous save point. Yeah, I died a lot. Cerberus. Died to Cerberus. Died a lot to the organization members. You couldn't I think he never came in for the organization members, but through like the Disney bosses he did.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't remember dying to the Disney boss. I died a lot when I did the Organization 13 fights.
Yeah. They were pretty tough.
Like there was one that was like they had the instant death where like you have a timer, they have to be within a certain number like before you instantly die. It was a girl, all I remember, with like daggers. I hated those fights.
Yeah, that one would have been the what do you
It was
call
just like a ticker. It like you had to like there was an instant death move, and then you had like a Roman numeral ticker that just trickled down to 0, and then if it goes there before you beat them, you die.
I want to remember that as Marluxia, who has a scythe. It's a guy, and he would yeah, he would do like basically he casts death on you, and then it kept going down. If you don't get to the next phase before that ticker went down, then it's an instant death there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Marluxia was the only one, and that was a like a not a secret boss battle. It's not really secret, but it's like one of those like extra boss battles.
Yeah,
which those are all amazing. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts has some of the best optional boss battles, in my opinion. Kind of sucks that 3 didn't really have that. Were you gonna say something, Ash?
Oh, I was. Well, I guess maybe. Oh yeah, I remember Kingdom Hearts 2 having some of the hardest optional bosses because you walk in on one of the members of Organization 13, and they would just swing up and just combo you to death. You don't even know what to do, and then you just come back, you fighting him over and over again until you get a right or something like that. That right there, those are secret bosses, man. Jesus.
But what I like about the Organization 13 members, just they were real, like, I wouldn't say, I mean, I won't say real skill checks, right? Because they're not like Souls like bosses or anything like that. But the secret bosses in general were just like, well, I guess, they were skill check bosses. The secret bosses were no joke. Like, you really had to be sure, like, you could have the right magic and everything, but it's all about skill. Like, when do you heal yourself? When do you block? When do you dodge? Right? There was all these different mechanics to it. And then, of course, later on, people were able to cheese the fight where you found out, oh, if you just only have your combo finisher, you just repeat the combo finisher and it staggers them, and you just spam that over and over and over again until eventually like they just die. And that's kind of like the cheap way. I remember friend of the show, Pharaoh, he told me about that in Kingdom Hearts 2, which was funny. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 4, we still don't have a date on it. We just have those photos to go off of, and that's it. And hopefully we get it sooner rather than later.
Hopefully, what's his face can still voice as Sora still.
Haley Joel Osment?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he had some issues.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's true. Like, I wonder what would happen there. Hey, Geek, what's up, man? Welcome to the podcast. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Because now, yeah, if you were to change his voice at this point, just like after being used to that voice, it'll be kind of weird. But they can come
Yeah.
out with some excuse, like they did with like the Ninja Turtles, the Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles series. I don't know if anybody else watched that, but something happened with the original voice actor, and then Seth Green became the voice actor to Leonardo. And then they had an
Interesting.
in-story excuse on why his voice changed. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
they wrote into the story. That's actually funny.
Speaking of
kinda-
which, that King of the Hill new season is coming out on Hulu, and I wondered how they were gonna do Dale Gribble's voice, because the actor that played him, John Hardwick, he passed away. So I was
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was gonna
curious
say
what they're
that.
gonna do about that.
I mean, they'll probably try to audition for like a sound-alike.
Yeah, my friend told me it's the same guy that plays Cotton, and Khan, I think, is the guy that's going to be voicing Dale, but the guy that voiced Dale was just so irreplaceable. But anyway, I digress. I just thought of
Well,
another
it's like
voice actor that had to change.
no, like Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts was played by Leonard Nimoy.
Oh,
And in
right.
Kingdom
Yep.
Hearts 3, he was dead already. So they had somebody who tried to sound like him, which they did a pretty good job. A lot of people don't realize that Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep had an amazing cast. You had Mark Hamill, who played Master Ericus, and then you had Leonard Nimoy, who played Master Xehanort. So,
I didn't know that. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Was Mark Hamill's character a good guy or a bad guy?
Good guy.
Good guy? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. It was Ericus, right? Yeah, definitely
Yep.
a good guy.
And then like I said, Leonard Nimoy as
R.I.P.
Yep. Did a good job. In Diz in Kingdom Hearts 2 was Christopher Lee. Yeah. So
Wow.
was it no,
And
yeah,
then you
Christopher
have-
Lee. That was Count Dooku, right? Christopher Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay.
he also played Saruman too, I think, in Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, yeah, you're right. He did.
Yeah. And then what's his name? The kid from Seventh Heaven, he played Riku.
Oh yeah, he did, yeah. I forgot his name.
It's Carradine. It's not David Carradine, obviously. I don't remember. But anyways, that kid is and then who played the girl?
Kyrie
was she wasn't it Panettiere? Wasn't it?
Yeah, Hayden Panettiere, yeah. I remember her from Heroes.
Remember the Titans she was in as well, but she was really
yeah, that's right. She was the little girl. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember her from Heroes, right? Because she was the cheerleader, right? Remember Save the Cheerleader?
I haven't seen Heroes.
You never seen Heroes? It's really good. I mean,
I heard the first season was good.
Yeah. The whole premise, it starts off with save the cheerleader, save the world, but then like it goes.
Oh, it's Gallagher. David Gallagher, that's his name.
Yes, you're right. And even the voice actor to Roxas is Jesse McCartney, which he was big like he's a singer. And he was big in like I guess Disney songs, and then like he got popular there. There's a lot of people who know who he is. And in the beginning, there's interviews of him. He didn't know what Roxas was or anything like that. And I remember watching the interview when the people were like, "Oh yeah, you played Roxas." Like I played this guy, but then literally years later, he embraced the character. And now you talk to him, he's like, "Yeah, this is like one of my favorite things I've ever done." And he's technically like 3 characters because he does Roxas. No, he's 2 characters, Roxas and Ventus. So he does the 2 there. So that's kind of
Wasn't Mandy Moore someone too?
Was she?
Wasn't she Aerith or something?
Oh, I think you're right. She was, yeah, in Kingdom Hearts 1, and then they changed it.
Oh, they changed it? Yeah, that's too. She's too high profile, apparently.
Yeah. There was some other people. Let me see. There's why does he sound familiar? Where's he from? Corey Burton. Yeah, David Gallagher as Riku. Yep. He was the kid from Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven.
See who else we got here. Just looking through the list to see if there's anybody noticeable that I can pick out here real quick. No, this list is not a good list. But yeah, I think she was originally Aerith, and then they changed. I think the original Ansem was also a different voice actor too. See, and 3 others.
We got so many recasts. That's funny.
Kingdom Hearts had a lot of recasts. It's funny because it came to who was it? One guy started voicing like the majority of the characters, which was funny.
Oh
What's
wow.
his name? Let me see if I can find his name here. Let's see, because he's in Kingdom Hearts 2. He started doing that, and the next thing you know, he's just everywhere.
That's so
Like,
funny.
yeah, he even did like Master Ericus. Oh, Sean Astin did Hercules. I didn't know that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
He was Hercules in Kingdom Hearts 1?
in all the apparently in all the
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
in
that's
every game.
cool. I like that.
Was he Hercules in the cartoon also?
I don't know. I
That's a good
wonder like
question.
who played who in these, because like some of the actors you
Are you
hear
looking it up, Fan? I'm curious.
I am. No, he's
Okay.
not. Okay.
he's
Okay.
not okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, because the guy who plays Phil sounds a lot like because I think
Danny
Danny
DeVito.
DeVito
Danny
is
DeVito.
the one in the movie, but the guy who plays Phil in the in Kingdom Hearts sounds a lot like him, and I thought that was him, but it's not. Let me see. What is his name?
It wasn't James Woods as Hades, was it?
James Wood. I don't know if he was in the game.
Yeah, in the
That's what I'm
game
saying. In the game, was he?
Yeah, in the game he was.
Okay.
Was he also in the movie?
He was in the
Of
original.
course. Yeah, he was in the original.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
famous for that role.
Oh, I did not know.
I mean, they even designed Hades to kind of even look like him.
Yeah,
there we go.
his mannerisms and stuff.
Aerith was Mandy Moore. Yep.
Yeah, I called it.
In the original,
I don't know how the hell I know that, but I knew it.
The original Cloud was Steve Burton.
Yeah, I knew that was just a VA. It wasn't like a famous person. Was Tifa someone famous? I don't remember.
Tifa. Let me see.
Wasn't that
Yuffie was Christy Carlson Romano. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is. Wasn't Tifa? Who was Tifa?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Sephiroth was Lance Bass from NSYNC.
Oh, that's so crazy. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Let's see. Let me see. This is all Kingdom Hearts 1. Where's Kingdom Hearts 2? Yeah, I forgot about that. All he did was grunts and everything like that. He didn't really say much. Let me see if there's a Kingdom Hearts 2 cast.
Yeah, it looks like some people came back from their original roles to do the voice acting for the game.
Did Ariel voice actress come back? Because that was also
Oh, good question.
Jodie Benson.
Yeah.
That's her? Yeah, because that's also what's her name?
Remember she played
Eve.
the lady from Metal Gear Solid 3, uncredited.
Eve. Yep.
Which is
Yeah,
interesting.
but,
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Scott Winger, the guy that voiced Aladdin, in the game. So like, he was DJ's boyfriend from Full House.
Oh, I was right. It was a famous person. Tifa was voiced by Rachel Lee Cook. That's an actress. She was like on Charmed and stuff, I think.
Oh, this one, the voice of Naminé. She's not really famous, but she was in a show that me and my wife watched recently. What show was it? Shoot. The Night Agent. We're watching The Night Agent, and then I heard her talk. I was like, wait a minute, I know that voice. But she was in there, so she's also a Tampa native too. So
oh, that's cool.
let me see. Kirk Thornton, we all know that. Quentin Flynn, Axel. While not famous in that sense, he's still famous. Yeah, Richard Epcar. So it's crazy. So Richard Epcar started voicing just everybody. Like you'll see it like after Kingdom Hearts 2, he just started taking over like everybody's role. Because he did Xemnas and then he did Ansem. Let's see. Yeah, Christopher Lee was Diz. Let's see. Who else?
They better pay them well doing all those characters.
Yeah, right. I feel like you guys might know more of these people than I do if you were to look at that. Look at him. Crispin Freeman. He's a known voice actor.
Yeah. Pretty sure he is. Yeah, Christian Freeman. Yeah, I remember him.
That's Itachi's voice, but he does a lot of other
Yeah.
people. Let's see, no.
Oh, look at that. Ming-Na Wen does the voice of Mulan again in the game.
Oh, she does? Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So you're definitely ahead of me. I'm looking at, see. Goofy.
I've only got 1 and 2 up, so.
I didn't know they changed Squall's voice in Kingdom Hearts 2. Interesting.
Yeah, they picked a lot of the original voice actors from the cartoons in the games.
Oh yeah, that's who he's
Not
from.
not all of them, but most of them.
Wilfredo, who was from
Boy Meets World.
yeah, Boy Meets World. There we go. Yeah, I was trying to remember. He's what's his name? Setzer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. AKA, I think the role that most people know him by is Tracy McGinnis in or Terry McGinnis, I'm sorry, in
Terry McGinnis,
Batman
Batman
Beyond.
Beyond. Yeah.
It's
But like they have James Earl Jones as Mufasa in the game, Jonathan Taylor Thomas as Simba in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like Cheech played voice Bonsai like in the game. So they pick a lot of this original.
They got a lot of
like,
people that go
yeah.
back.
Yeah,
Come back.
I think
yeah.
I think their main priority was to try to get the original cast for the Disney characters. But if they were either not available or too expensive, then they'll go for alternatives.
Someone that can like sound close to it.
Yeah.
Like they got freaking Gilbert Gottfried did Iago again. Like,
So Hercules in the second game was done by Tate Donovan.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's the original.
Is that the original?
I think so. In the cartoon.
So then they got the original to come back. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the original.
He is the original. Oh, see, so they got him to come back. That's cool. Oh yeah, I see BD Wong as Captain Lee.
But then Pat Morita before he passed as the Emperor.
Yeah. Yeah, they did it for the Mulan at least. They had all the big names to come back. Yeah, that's kind of cool that they were able to do that with Kingdom Hearts. That's something I always like. It's just you look at who the voice cast is and see if they are the original or not. But like Kingdom Hearts has like a really, really good voice cast of both actors and really like recognizable voices as well. So that is kind of cool. All right. Anything else you guys want to add before we end the podcast today?
I'm excited.
I don't
for something. I don't know.
I don't get why Nintendo decided to hold off on customizable Joy-Cons like a week before the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. We kind of discussed it, but it just seems like so much money left on the table.
Yeah.
Hey, that's on them.
Yep.
It's so they can keep the life of the Switch around.
Yeah. One of those things that like
reason.
Honestly, the Switch is one of those systems, and I think Nintendo just has that habit that when their new system comes out, their old system is literally just dead. There's no point in having that old system. Like when the 3DS
Wii U
came
was
out,
alive and kicking when the Switch came out. What are you talking about? No, I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, poor Wii U never made out its infancy. But
Yeah,
like
Wii U
3DS, when the 3DS came out, technically in the beginning there was no point to have a 3DS because there was no good games. But once the 3DS started rolling, there was no point to have a DS. And the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be the same factor. Like, yes, right now there's an overlap, and you're going to be able to play games with a better experience. But then sooner rather than later, probably within 2 years, there's no point to have a Switch. So if you buy a Switch right now, I mean, I just think it's a waste of time, or a waste of money rather. There's no point. Hopefully they do that with. I would like to see what they do with the new Joy-Cons, because all we have is the black with the red and blue accent, which I do like. I like the design of it, but I wonder if we're gonna get more custom Joy-Cons and how they will look. I'm sure they will come, but
we will. It's
I'm curious to see.
it's gonna be the basics, you know.
Yeah.
If we're able to like just DIY our own custom stuff, then that'd be cool too. I never done it before, funny enough, but I hope it's an option for somebody out there that wants to, personalize their Switch further.
Yep, Xbox has that there. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about before we end the podcast. Is actually Expedition 33. Where's everybody at?
I just got done with Act 1. I'm at the world. I'm back on the world map with something.
SKA?
I'll tell you that much.
SKA?
Yeah.
SKA, yeah.
Well, no, I don't want to say further because I don't know if anyone else is watching.
I think we're all
past.
Oh,
we're past.
Well, we don't have to say
that. It's for viewers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I don't think SKA is really a spoiler for
No,
viewers.
no. When you get done with Act 1, there's something
Oh
big
yeah,
that
yeah.
happens.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
actually,
I'm
That's
not
what I
gonna
meant.
say
what
anything,
we'll
but
do
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now actually is if you don't want to hear spoilers from here, you can stop listening to the podcast. We're going to discuss probably for a good 5 to 10 minutes Expedition 33. This will have spoilers involved post Act 1 to see where we're at. So yeah, if you don't want to hear this is your warning. You can end right now, and we will discuss this starting now. So yes, we all know what happened at the end of Act 1. Gustav is no more.
Yeah, I'm
And
sad. I'm really sad about that. But
I have a
I like the
the way he
sort
went
of
down was
replacement.
like,
Yeah. He went out like a badass, but I like the replacement because it's the fact that the character is voiced by Ben Starr. I'm
Yep.
like, yes, let's
I
fucking
mean,
go.
not only
I'm
that, the
ready.
replacement's
he almost kind
entrance
of looks like
happens to be
Clive. Like the
he
character design
does.
almost kind of looks like
Yeah.
Clive.
I think they did it on purpose. Yeah, they wanted, and that's why they got Ben Starr to voice him because like, you know what, we're gonna make Clive again because I think Bryant did this. Bryant's actually secretly a developer for Expedition 33 and was like, you know what, we need Clive in this game, so we're gonna get Ben Starr. But
Where are
What-
you guys at?
He's amazing.
I just beat the duelist boss.
so
I like I said, I just got done with like Act 1.
Me
I'm
too.
literally right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Like
Yeah.
I went to the next stage, which is the battlefront front line,
I got past that.
and then I beat
Okay.
the boss there, and then I
So you're further than me.
I-
Yeah, I just started 2, and I probably, to be honest, I'm probably not gonna play until like Saturday. That's just how it is. Like when I get home.
Wait, you started Act 2?
No, I'm saying I'm sorry, Act 1. I just finished Act 1. I'm sorry. So I
Okay.
just started. Well, I guess I started Act 2, right? I'm there. I'm probably not gonna play till Saturday, just because like today after this I'll play something that I don't really need to pay attention to.
yeah.
But- Go ahead.
The first thing I did before like getting off the game was to check. I already forgot his name, but I checked his skill tree to see if it was like similar to
To
Gustav's. Now,
Gustav's, and it is.
yeah, no, yeah, of course there's some skills that Gustav had, but it got passed on to him. But normally, what happens like in an RPG is that when a character dies and immediately a new character comes in, 9 times out of 10 they're going to be having
Fully
literally
new.
the same shit. But
Yep.
here,
Lavitz
the
and
new
little
character,
different.
the new character is a
and
lot more
Albert.
different. He has a lot more. He has a lot more mechanics to him compared to Gustav, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Which
It's-
begs the
it's got those-
question: I wonder with those lock skills with Gustav. I wonder if you unlock those for New Game Plus or something like that. right?
Maybe.
I
I'm
think
wondering
it just
if
depends on game progress. I think it just depends on where you're at in the game when those things start getting unlocked.
Really interesting.
no, because you only have those set skills right there. Because I only needed the 1 to unlock, and that was it. And the other skills were just
No,
blocked.
That's what I mean. Like where you're at in the game, like you can't access those locked skills yet because of where you're at in the game, like progress wise. Because Gustav was locked for that set for the entire Act 1. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't unlock anything else.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, as you get further into the game, more skills will probably that skill tree would be unlocked.
But you
Which
can't,
begs
you
the
can't play as
question.
Gustav though.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is that if in New Game Plus, I wonder those skills do get unlocked because since he's dead already, what if anything, another alternative is like if he comes back somehow, right?
I don't think.
Then-
Yeah,
He's not coming back.
that dude
Yeah.
got snapped.
They were like,
They couldn't afford Charlie Cox
I
anymore.
know.
Let's be real.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like, yeah, you cost us too much, so we gotta kill you. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah. Bring in Ben Starr.
Bring him in, Star.
Yeah.
He was the lead for FF16. Let's do it. I'm like, yeah, bet.
He's
But
amazing.
yeah, so like it brings my point that with that is that I feel like those
Because like
skills,
male skills, like her top 3 are still locked, but all the other ones I've branched out. Even though I've unlocked all the ones above, she still had 3 skills at the very top that are locked no matter what.
mm,
I feel like with
So I
Gustav
think
skills,
depending on where you get in the game, more like it'll unlock it because there's like I found certain merchants
yeah.
that I couldn't buy stuff because it says you haven't found this person.
Mm.
so
Or it could be story based.
That's what I'm
for
saying.
My,
That's what I mean,
For,
like,
for
depending
my
on
own
where you're at in the game.
skills, so are you talking about progression or just character level?
No, they're saying
No,
the
progression,
skills.
like in the actual story, like how far you are in the actual progression of the game.
Okay,
Like
so
right now, let's just say Act 1 is 30%, right?
yeah,
So at Act 1, you can only have access to these number of skills, no matter how many skill points you have. But then once you get to, let's say, 60% of the game, more of these skills will start unlocking where you can get them no matter, whatever, if you have the skill points.
Or maybe it's tied to your level or something too.
Yeah, that's something.
I'm at like almost level 30 with Mayo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, the reason why I'm asking about Gustav, because he did have locked skills before Act 1.
I think that was
thinking,
just. I think
just his character tree. I think it's because he was designed to die after Act 1.
Exactly. I think that's why it was blocked.
Unlocking those others.
It made you guess that there was something going on, and then he died, and you're like, okay, what happened? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
I see what you mean.
That probably would never unlock, but it was a point to make you think, because you see the character tree, you're not thinking that this character is gonna die, right? So like they're there, you're going.
It's like a creative way to show that. Like you could think, oh, maybe those are going to unlock later as I grow in the game, and it's like, no, they're just never going to happen.
Yeah,
I hope there are certain things that like I did in Act 1 kind of like come back later on in the game, because every time I did camp, I always have Gustav write in his diary and stuff.
Yeah. Likewise,
right?
well, no, Mael does it.
Mile does.
Mile does it now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Hopefully there's just like some sort of incentive for that. And what I also find it kind of like messed up too is that when I went to camp as the new character for the first time, I talked to SK
Verso?
first. Yeah, Verso. Yeah. As Verso. After the conversation was over, French, I'm like, bro, is this the actual game this time? I'm like, that's effed up. Are you serious?
Like Persona 33.
Persona?
Yeah. That's the funny part, because like they never did this for freaking
Gustav
for Gustav. So I'm like, damn, he had these conversations with freaking Lune, Ciel, Mael. So you're telling me that. Wow. Okay.
I will tell you, I do have a little bit of a critique, and I think it's like it is of course my opinion there, but like I feel that the way Gustav's death was handled makes sense with Mael, but like with Lune and I forgot what the other girl's name is.
It's like Ciel.
Yeah. It's almost like they talked about it, but like that little conversation they had, there was no like remorse. It was just like, oh, he's dead.
Can I just tell you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a scene. Yeah, there's a scene that happens where Fan is. I'm a little bit past where Fan is. I actually got the last character you get in the game already, but there's a scene that happens that is incredibly emotional and powerful. Involving Gustav that comes later. But the thing that really
even just between Lune and Ciel.
Correct. Yeah. But I think it kind of is, at least Lune, I think it's owed to her character, because Lune is very like by the book. We move, we continue, we move on, and then
very detached.
Like very detached. Yeah, because she's lost a lot of people and stuff. So I think that fits with her character. Ciel, you don't know much about her, but again, there's a scene that comes after where Fan was that there's really raw emotion that gets shown, and that made me emotional.
Gustav at least seemed to be closer.
They were close
than Lune was with them. Like they knew each other for a long time or something. So it's
somebody dated somebody.
Do we want to say?
Is that way? I'm trying to think. Is that really a? I don't think that's a spoiler.
I don't think it's a spoiler.
Well, because they mentioned that they knew each other from somebody, right? Like
so,
they
if you do the camp stuff and talk to all the characters, you'll get to it. Like you'll see it.
It's not a spoiler though. It's just really backstory.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, because they knew each other from the time they met each other, they knew
each other because they were part in the expedition, or like training to be part of the expedition.
No, but I thought they knew each other from that, because they knew what's it called, whatever Gustav's like
Rose
is that her name? Yeah, the girl that Gustav loved,
girlfriend.
Yeah, Sophie.
Sophie. Yeah, I think it's Sophie.
Like, because they knew her too, and that somehow they knew each other from her.
Well, I mean, Lumiere is small, so I mean everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, it's a pretty small community.
True, yeah.
Yeah, extremely small. I was trying my best to like explore everything in there, bro. That's a hell of a small place, bro.
But yeah, so I guess so if they do fix that, at least where I'm at, I was just expecting more. Like, Mael's crying, and is understandable for that, because that was like her big brother,
her father brother,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Once you get past once you get to where I'm at, you'll get the character building.
Yep.
And then like Verso's backstory, I think is going to be interesting. Like I feel that as of right now, I feel like he's lying to an extent. Just certain things.
Yeah.
Like he says he's part of the original expedition, but I don't think he is. Like he might be something else. I don't know. We'll see. And then of course you
Nothing
have
I've played yet indicates he's lying. So far, he seems pretty on the level. Could be wrong, but so far he's on the level.
well, because they're saying him and the other guy is part of the original expedition.
Yeah.
Right.
Renoir.
Yeah, but like they know each other and they
The man in
know
white. Yeah.
they know
White-haired man.
you know Male. There's the other girl who looks like Male who like I have a theory, but I don't want to say the theory because I
Yeah.
think it might be spoiler.
Right.
But
The masked lady.
yeah, exactly. Like
Mm.
I have a theory when it comes to her. But we'll see. Like Verso, I think is a cool character though. Like he looks cool.
Yeah. He looks like Severus Snape and Adam Driver and or not Severus Snape. If you took Adam Driver and what's Gary Oldman's character's name from Harry Potter?
Sirius Black.
Sirius Black. Yeah, if you look like Adam Driver and Sirius Black and combine them together, you get Verso, and that's
Yeah,
cool.
you notice how Verso has like a scar on one eye, and then the Renard guy has a scar on the other eye.
Maybe they gave it to each other or something.
Mhm.
Little
Little swall.
I didn't notice
Little
Yeah.
swall action.
that. Yeah,
Can I just say though about go ahead.
No, I was say Renard voiced by what's his name?
Andy Serkis?
Yes,
Yeah,
Andy
Andy Serkis.
Serkis. Yeah, which right away he has that voice that his voice, but I'm like I know that he's not gonna appear. Maybe like at the end of he's gonna appear like in every act, like at the end of every act, and I'm like, yeah, he's probably expensive too. So they're gonna save him for just like the big scenes, which yeah, get your money's worth. He definitely deserves those big scenes. And honestly, like just that whole like conversation with everything, the whole fight and how it happened was pretty cool. How
Mhm.
they did the Final Fantasy thing, right, where it goes from cinematic to gameplay to cinematic
Mhm.
thing. I did really like that, and yeah, that was like it felt like AAA there. That was kind of cool overall. So what were we gonna say?
A couple things. So I don't know if you guys saw this. It was trending on Twitter. I don't know if it was trending, but it was on Twitter. I saw it where
Mhm.
they showed like what the early
Oh,
build of the
yeah.
game looked like, and it was
Yep.
so interesting. Like just seeing like the very beginnings of what the battle system looked like and what the environments looked like,
Yeah.
and it was just really humbling to think about how a game that looks like this now started as just this
It was
really
like
bare
almost
bones
like a
looking thing.
PS1 type game.
Yeah, it looked like a PS1 game. Yeah, it was very cool.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
I'll
it
look
was
up.
very interesting. Like a character had like a lightsaber and stuff, or like
Yeah.
it was really interesting. Something that I just want to impart so badly about this game that's like in my heart that I feel is just really important is that obviously I'm saying, of course, I think it's important. Is that like when you think about it, like this game was made by 33 people. Okay, right there, full stop, end of story. Before you even get into the quality of the game, like that's a small team to create a game, unless it's like an indie game that's like, a few people or 10 people or whatever. 33 people to create an RPG of this magnitude. It's impressive. So now you put that on the table, like that's the basis of your critique and review of this game. You have to just put it on the lens that this is a 33 member team, and they created a game. Now let's get to the actual meat of the game, where you see the art style just dripping off the page everywhere. Like when you end a battle, it says like "we continue," and the music sounds all like epic and badass. And it shows like the enemies you killed on the bottom left corner, the Pictos you leveled up. You're leveled up on the top right, and like when you end the battle, like it's like a cool freeze frame of when you kill the enemy. And it just the music, the world, it just feels so visceral. It just feels so lived in. It just feels like the vibe is just incredible. And then you have the combat system with the parrying and the dodging, and it's just so deep, and there's just so much meat to the bone that you just remember this is a 33-person team. And I don't want to compare it to other games. I think that's really trite at this point. It's like, oh well, Final Fantasy doesn't do blah blah blah. Like people have been doing that online. Like, see, this is what a good game is and stuff. Like, I don't want to compare that because I think every game has their place as long as it's quality. But I just really don't think that people like the game is getting its flowers. It's a 97 on Metacritic, the highest ever that's ever been. I haven't heard any major complaints about the game besides the little critiques like the mini map and stuff like that, or the navigation and all the rest. But I still think this game is being undersold about how truly incredible of an achievement it is for these folks, because just the art design, going through these environments, finding things, the music, the epicness of the story, it's just all so original and cool. It's so cool. Everything about it is cool. I feel so cool playing the game, from the battles and how the characters look and the shooting and the enemy design and how epic it is. And I'm not even probably I'm probably like maybe halfway done at this point. And I don't know. It's just I really feel like I hope this game by the end of the year is still remembered when Game of the Year talks, because even I mean, unless the game is absolutely craps at the end, I don't see this changing any my mind about it being Game of the Year. Like Death Stranding 2 is going to be on my list, I'm sure, but like beyond that, this game is just it's exceptional, man. There's just no other way about it.
See, in some points that you made, I kind of disagree. Like the enemies is cool, but for some reason I'm not a fan of the enemy style. It's very
Really?
reminiscent of like Elden Ring and stuff like that, which I don't mind. But I just feel like if the enemy like style, and I get it, it has to be the same. It just feels very samey, if that makes sense, right? I'm not talking about the variety. I can care less about that, but it's like when you look at the differences of enemies, they just have that same tone. And maybe they did it on purpose, but for me, I don't like that. Um, it's kind of like seeing, even though they're different enemies, they just still look alike, and I'm like, I'm not sure about that. But then again, like I'm not a fan of also like a lot of the Elden Ring enemies, and how they're designed. It's just a type of vibe that I just
It's
don't
just not
care
your
for.
aesthetic, it looks like. It
Yeah,
sounds like.
yeah, it's not my style there. Not saying that I think the way the enemies attack and their movement is cool and stuff like that. It's just not my style. But what I do like is how they bring in, it's Expedition 33 is like a celebration of RPG. So like they bring in different elements, like that
Mhm.
slowdown element when you finish the fight. It's very Kingdom Hearts, right? When you do the last attack in
Yeah, that
Kingdom
is.
Hearts, it slows
Yep.
down to very slow, and then you see that like I've
Mhm.
always liked that in Kingdom Hearts because it's that satisfying win. You're like, yes, I won, and it gives you that. I do like how you talking about the victory screen, very well put. I do like it shows you what enemies you defeated, level up screen and stuff like that. Always cool. The music to me is like 50-50 for me.
You're out of
But
your mind.
I think it's 50-50. Some of the songs are just kind of like meh, and some of the songs are like, oh, this is amazing. I don't think it's 100% there. Like that's me. There was some cool stuff, like the scene with the whole Gustav stuff. The music playing there was amazing. A lot of the slower tracks were amazing, but some of the world tracks, like the one place you're at with Eskia, where you're fighting the Rock, right before all of that happens, I thought that music was boring. Like I was not a fan of that track. But then again,
I wish
like
I had like a foam brick. I would throw it at my phone right now.
to me, it's just like, again, and I hate to hit the comparison, but like playing Final Fantasy 16 and being in, was it called the Great Wood, right? Was that the place I was at? I think it was called,
Yeah,
where you fight like
I think so.
the Tiamat, I think it is, or Fafnir. I think it's Fafnir. Like listening to just that piece, I'm like, man, like I don't know. But again, it's a style of music I like. I like the Soken style. Maybe I'm just obsessed with that style of his, not his more rock based, but his more like, I don't know what you would call that style. I
No,
like that.
But
I
again,
get
you
it.
have to take it as it is, though. The game
Yeah.
was not Final Fantasy, and this is a guy on SoundCloud that did this music.
Yeah,
man. Like I think that
SoundCloud.
So,
like
hey,
that deserves
okay.
a nod. I mean,
So I will give you again. I'll give you another one if you want to put it in the same bar. I think Sea of Stars soundtrack is amazing. The guy who did it, not talking about Yasunori Mitsuda, because he only did like 3 tracks. The guy who's done the majority of Sea of Stars soundtrack is amazing. Like I like that music. Like that's a soundtrack, like the world map you get on the Sleeper Island. Have you played Sea of Stars?
me,
Yeah.
I platinum it, man. I
Oh,
loved it.
okay, gotcha. Everybody else here has played Sea of Stars, right?
No, not
Yeah.
yet.
You
But
haven't?
I'm
Okay.
gonna play this year though.
If
I
you
haven't
listen to
finished it,
like
but I'm playing it.
the I think it's called
That
Sleeper
music.
Island, where the dragon is
Yeah.
sleeping, like that whole world map's
Yeah.
track. I was like, oh man,
Oh yeah.
that's great. Like a lot of those tracks, and this is again a single developer that's only made music for the games. He did the Messenger soundtrack too, and it's like I love those soundtracks there. But again, it's a different style, to what I like personally. But everything else about the game is cool. Like voice cast is
I mean, this is
amazing.
a James coded game. It's turn-based RPG in
It is,
the
but I
Japanese
always like
style.
I always like to critique every game. Like I've had, I don't know, like as much as I say like Tears of the Kingdom and like Breath of the Wild are like my 10/10 games, I still critique them for a lot of the things that I feel, they could have made better. Like music wise, I just feel that as much as I love the music and some of the remixes they did, I kind of miss a lot of other songs that they had there. That's just me.
Give it some flowers. What are some things about it you just think are truly exceptional?
I
Like,
just
do you agree
mentioned
with
like
any of the?
the voice cast. Like I love the voice
Okay.
cast. There, the world I do like. Like you mentioned, like the aesthetics of the world and stuff, and the variety and the environments. I do
Like the
like
world
that.
map and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. I like how you can
Yeah.
see I forgot what it's called. I don't even know there's a name,
The
but where the
monolith?
number, yeah, where the 33 is. I like how you can see that from wherever you are in whichever, area you go to. I always like when games do that. You can see where you're going to your goal, and it's like, okay, that's there. Like, again, bring back Tears of the Kingdom. You can always see Hyrule Castle from wherever you are in the world, which was always cool because you're like, yeah, that's the bad guy. That's where I gotta be. This kind of does that same point. I always like that. Their combat system. I think the poses, the stance, and like the attack animations are pretty
Yes.
awesome. I think Lune is a standout on like the way she does the magic and everything like that. I think it's kind of cool. Like when she does the revive thing, you can tell like she reminds me of like Storm. Like she's like using all her power to. She's
Yeah, she
basically
like
like Storm.
floats.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's basically
What are they
Storm.
called? Stains. The stains system is
Stains.
kind of cool.
Yeah, the stain system. Seal, like she's cool with her little like scythe thingy.
I'm still wrapping my head around
arrows.
how hers work with the twilight and the sunshine and all that.
Yeah. Oh, people were hyping about her and why she's like a huge damage dealer, which I'm
Yeah.
like, now I look at the calculations, it makes a lot more
She
sense.
is.
It's
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
When there's
when
two
you immediately when you
abilities.
get her, you can immediately like max out her damage, not up to 2 million from what I've seen, but like at early,
Maybe later.
you can get
Yeah.
like automatically get 9,999 damage. So it's pretty easy.
Applying
It's pretty
foretell.
easy. Yeah, it's pretty easy to do.
There's an ability you get that I added in right away. It's like if you don't have any foretell or whatever, you get 5, and then the ability else
Yeah,
you
if
get
the enemy
it like multiplies for every foretell you have. So like just that combination alone, like whenever I don't have her as my main lineup, it was Gustav, Male, and Lune. I have this thing in RPGs. You'll see it in every game I play. The first team I get, I stick to that team until it doesn't work anymore. And it's been in every single game. That's always just the way I play the RPGs.
Yeah, but then your character's under leveled, man.
Well, I mean, modern RPGs, everybody levels up now, so like you really don't have
Not in this game.
Well,
No,
they're
they
still
do.
close.
They
Yeah,
do.
because Seal levels up. Yeah.
They do. They just don't do it
You
as
sure?
quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do it
Okay.
as quickly.
They
But
do.
yeah, like she's like level 19 where everybody else is 20 and 21. For me,
She
at
still
least.
she still progresses in level, but it's just not as quickly.
Yeah, like if you
Okay.
die, if you finish the fight
Yeah.
and your characters died, they don't get as much XP as if they were still alive. So
But they still get some.
They still
But they
get
still
some.
get some.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I switched to Seal. I took Lune out
To
where
Lune?
I'm at the battlefront. Like
Yeah,
where I'm like the
I'm
duelist.
kind of the same way.
I switched because I was like,
Lune's
I
my
need to get
healer.
her up in terms of level. Well, she gets an ability.
She does have I do
where
have the healing ability too.
well, she has 2.
Oh, she does? Does she get one
Yeah.
that does like that
She
revives
gets one that
people?
does everybody.
Okay.
The whole party heals.
See, because I
And
have
for-
Lune, I have the single heal,
Yeah.
the heal with everybody, and if you have 3 fire stains, or if you have like the rainbow stains, then it does also like regen. And then I
Yeah.
have the like revive ability, which I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, resurrect like that one.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's called Resurrect.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
But
you go. I'm expecting
I
fancy
I,
names.
I swapped. I took
Yeah.
Lune out. I put Seal in. So then because I have the heal everybody ability, and then you still get your tents. So if someone dies, I'll throw a tent to revive them. And then
Yeah.
I have Mail in. So then I use her like boost like defenseless ability and the guard ability,
Yeah.
and then Versal still has the powerful ability. So
Yep.
I
do-
freaking fought what was it? One of the chromatic creatures.
The
But
giant monster.
no,
things?
it was one that was fire based.
Mhm.
And I wish I would have known this, but the fact that it was fire based, Mail had a weapon that was fire element. So every time she attacked, whether doing
heal
free
him?
aim or basic attack, she healed him.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I all I could do was either her abilities or support. Like I couldn't have her attack him directly.
That's one thing I wish the game had. Is I wish it had like exit battle or restart battle. Like you kind of have to like just let your characters die. I think that's kind of annoying. Like that could be a quality of life improvement.
I couldn't flee because when you fight a chromatic enemy, you're stuck. So you can
Right,
only
that's
die.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way you could like restart the battle or something or exit it.
Yeah. But
that
I just
allow
powered
you
through it.
to swap out items in game, but maybe that'd be
like
too easy.
Equipment. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you could do a quick change, or like if it would have like had like Final Fantasy X ability capabilities where you can do a party swap.
Yeah.
right?
I thought there
Like,
was one
'cause-
for the longest time. I was like, man, I thought you can party swap, but it's not. Once you die,
once
you're
you die,
back
You get
can
one
sit in your
person.
reserve.
yeah. So,
But that was
let's
the one
go.
thing
Let's go around the horn. I want to know who everybody's favorite character to play as is. I'll say Mael. I love her battle system with the stances, and I think she just looks super cool when she fights. And getting into, what's it called? Is it called Virtuous? No, what's the stance called? Isn't it? Is it Virtuous?
Virtuous, the one that does 200 plus damage.
Yeah. I think that looks so cool, and like trying to get into that, and then you can do that like mega super attack that does so much damage, and you're trying to like get her into that mode and trying to like make enemies get into certain statuses so she can get it, like burning, so you can put her into virtuoso stat. Or is it virtuous or virtuoso? It's virtuoso, isn't it?
Virtuoso.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my favorite is Mael.
Okay. What about you guys? I'll go last.
So for me, it used to be Gustav, and the only reason why I love Gustav so much is because when you use his break ability when he's overcharged and stuff, he has a unique line where he says for those who come after. And I'm like, I love that. I love that stuff. And then now since he's kind of gone now, Maya was my second favorite, and it's for the same reasons. It's actually her lines when she goes up. I heard my favorite line from her. Yes, that. So when she says, I'm like, oh, okay, spicy.
She's
I love that. I just love their voice lines when they're up and battling and stuff. I love it so much. So, but yeah.
Yep, I agree.
What about you, Fan?
I like Lune.
Okay.
When I play like MMOs and stuff like that, I typically do mage type. Yeah.
I was gonna say Gustav as well. With the arm, like. No, I like that because the same thing. Like I always like that the ability he has, and his whole thing, the charge thing, I thought was always super cool. Kind of sucks that he's gone, but I mean, we'll see if Versal becomes, because like his thing seems pretty interesting. But I haven't gotten into the actual like gameplay mechanics. So like
same here.
If I have to choose of the existing party members that we have right now, it's kind of hard to pick. Like I like Mila a lot too for the same reasons, and I like her her setup, like just her attacks and her abilities are really cool. I like she's very, how can I put it? She's like the style of gameplay that I like, where you gotta think like, oh shoot, this guy might do a big attack. Let me switch to a defensive stand. Not only that, I always use her to make them weak to fire, and then I'll double up with Lune doing fire damage too, and that always helps out a lot too, which I always liked. Um, I like Lune too a lot. Like I think I'm gonna go with Maya. Like Lune, I just like because she reminds me of Storm. Like her whole like thing is like Storm, so it just reminds me a lot of Storm.
I love their little intros when they go into the battles.
Because I like floating.
Yeah, exactly. She floats around and stuff. But yeah, we'll see if I like Versal, because he has the same weapons, and I was thinking in my head, oh, he's probably gonna use a gun too, but no, he has like a knife or a dagger as the second weapon. And he looked cool in that opening scene, so I gotta really play around with him to see what his ability does before I finalize my thoughts on who's the best or who's my favorite.
What difficulty are you guys playing at?
I did normal.
Oh,
yeah.
What are you, hard?
Yeah, because the problem at normal mode was that it was too easy. Because I love parrying the attacks. I love parrying the attacks. So when I parry, especially as when the whole expedition team counters when you parry everything and stuff, the enemy dies immediately. So I'm like, damn it! It's like, so I'm like, so.
But I think that's how that game is designed. Like I feel like it's designed, you either beat them easily or you die. It's one or the other.
The thing is, James, you were mentioning earlier that you have to have Luna in your party because he was like at the time the only healer. But for me, I didn't need to heal it because I literally parried everything. They would.
Well, you're like an Elden Ring god, though. So give us a chance over us mortals.
I'm not even a god. I just have the thirst to parry stuff.
But like, so I don't like. Again, it could be that I'm playing on the RGLIX with frame gen on. That I can't get the timing right, but I feel like sometimes I can't get the timing right, and a lot of people are saying that you have to time it before the attack versus like Elden Ring, as you parry when the attack happens, right? Like right when the attack connects, you press the parry button. So for me, like I'm always like at a miss, where like, okay, this is the time, this is the input, and it's like, wait, I was too early, or then I'm too late. Like I'm never really on time, so it kind of messes with me.
I can perfect dodge better than I can parry.
Yeah,
I can tell you this much: parrying as Mael, it feels so satisfying because when she like has that scream out and stuff. I love that. I'm like,
I always like when you do the jump counter. That's always my favorite because then all three of them just attack.
Backflip.
Yeah, that's always my favorite. I always like when that happened. Like the battle system too. Like that's something that I also want to highlight. That the battle system is really fun. Outside of the parrying, like and dodging, like I know everybody like loves that, but I actually like just the counter thing. Like I've always like counter attacks, and the counter thing, the animation of it is amazing, and just how it actually works with like if an enemy has shield up, if you counter all three, then you're doing 3 damage. You're not just doing 1 because you know it's one counter animation, which is kind of cool. I do really like that, and no, it's just again, it's a lot of thought in the battle mechanics that make you think, which I really like. It's not.
By the way, there's an added battle mechanic when you get your last character, or when you get the last character. There's another aspect of parrying that comes to the game that you have to learn. That's a little tricky.
Because I know the parrying one I'm on right now like turns
R2.
Oh, it's R2. That's a new one. Oh boy, I can't wait for that one. Can't wait.
It like slows down.
Like, yeah, the slowdown one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that one easy because that one comes in when you get the last character, right?
But you don't do as much damage or something, or?
No, I do it as Verso.
I think you get that though when you're doing that as does it? Maybe it happens at the battle.
He shows it right at the battle.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
He's like, watch this cool move.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I think it did see the last character that you get, and he looks interesting. Definitely not human. I'll tell you that much.
He's not human. No.
Yeah. If anything, he kind of reminds me a little bit of one of the Elden Ring characters. I think.
Is it the guy who sells you the stuff? Is he your last character?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a brand new character.
Doesn't he have a stick that he has?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. He kind of reminds me of whatchamacallit.
Is he a what are the enemies called?
He reminds me of the first.
He's not an Everon.
What's his name?
Who?
He reminds me of the first Elden Ring boss because he also had a stick with him too. Like I forgot his name.
Gear. This starts with a G. Godfried or something.
Gideon.
Like
Godfried.
Godfried. Yeah, Godfried. I think. Yeah. I gotta go back on that. But yeah, he reminds me of him. So I'm like, oh, cool. So somebody that's actually more different than it's not another expedition or human character. So I'm like, okay, bet.
SKA should have been the last party member.
Everybody loves SKA. Did you see that story about how like there a bunch of unauthorized people were making SKA plushes to sell, and then the team that made Expedition saying we're looking into making SKA plushes because everybody wants to buy them. Please don't buy from unauthorized sources. It's like, why wouldn't you make SKA plushes? Everybody doesn't want to. I'll buy an SKA plush.
Man,
same.
I'm curious to see the ending though, because I have a theory of how the story is going to unfold.
I have a theory too,
and part of me kind of saw it almost in the beginning when the first time you saw the masked person, and what's his name? What's the old dude's name?
Renoir.
Yeah,
Renoir.
When you saw him, aka, he's definitely if he's not inspired by it, I'll be surprised. But he reminds me of the king from Final Fantasy 15, Noxus's dad.
Yeah,
he has that whole
he does. Yeah,
to him. So I was like, okay, but like, I just have a theory of what this whole thing is now.
Because I think he already knew what the ending is, and he's trying to like end their misery before they get there. I feel so that's my theory. I feel like there's by the time they get to the end of it, it's going to be something that's really, really sad. But it's probably going to be sort of bittersweet in a sense. I feel. I don't know.
We'll see. You guys want to hear my theory?
I don't want to hear theories. No, I don't want to hear your theory. No.
All right. You want
because I don't want to think of things. I want to come to my conclusions.
Do you want to hear my theory, fan, or you want to, or no?
Nope. I don't want to. No, don't want to hear.
How about you, Ash?
Write it down. Write it down, and
are you guys afraid
you can
that I'm
show it to us.
100% correct? Right?
You could be, and I don't want you to be.
I could be too, and Brian could be.
I have my own theory, and I'm gonna keep it until.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it as it is. I just know.
I don't want to know his theory.
I just know Renoir, and what's the new character's name that just joined the party? Verso knows something, and the masked lady knows something. That I definitely do know.
That's a given.
Yeah, but it's probably something really, really damn sad. To the
Well,
point
they
where
say it. They say
the-
it. Like, he asks, Verso asks,
Like, you know what's to come
SBA,
or
like,
whatever.
do you know about her talking about Mael or something? Like, there's something going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, see. That's not what I was gonna say, but we'll see what happens because I
Okay.
feel like it has to do with the paintress, and I feel like we kind of got a glimpse of who the paintress really is. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
So
We'll see.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with that, but I'm not gonna say anything. Okay.
So,
Okay.
it's one of those things like I think video game design, and it could be because I took video game design in college, right? So like I kind of see like the design points, and unfortunately, I think that's a bad side of me where I start looking at these details to see how they're coming up with these things, and then I'm like, okay, this is kind of where we're getting at when it comes to that. Like Final Fantasy 16 was one of those that I spoiled myself, saw the ending because I never finished it. But where I was at and leading up to, I was kind of like, okay, that's kind of where I was going at too as well. But yeah, uh, that's good.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Final Fantasy 7 remake and rebirth, like I knew the ending for that too. Like I feel amazing. Like I was like, man, I know this whole story. Like crazy. Like no. Oh man. All right. Any last words on Expedition 33 or anything else?
I got some. It's just I feel like Expedition 33, like Brian, I feel like this is probably gonna be my game of the year so far. Because it's just the fact that this is just a team that wants to make a good game in their own creative view,
passion,
without any corporatism, without any capitalism, and that's what we got.
Capitalism.
So this is a game that reminds me back in the older days of gaming where we just had a group of devs that wants to make good games, and that's it. That's it. We let artists do artist things, and that's it. And I feel like this is a good way to jump into more other indie titles because they're indies for a reason. They just want to they just want to express their art without any sort of like what's the word any interference from interference with money, corporate, all that stuff. Yeah. I feel like mouthwashing is one of those good examples because it tackles a lot of really
money
hard.
will always be an interference in terms of like how much money you have to make the game, but like
yeah, of course.
I think it's more like corporate heads like dictating what you can and can't do.
Yeah, but even with a small budget, you can still make it a fantastic game.
Well, yeah,
they proved
regardless.
it.
Yeah, and they did
and sell it for cheap.
Yeah, so and I feel like that when it comes to like AAA studios, for the most part, they like to blow it out their money when it comes to like game dev time, and I'm like,
well, I think like when I look back,
they need to actually go back to the drawing board and figure out what's wrong. How did this studio did so well with that much money, with that many people, versus this AAA studio that had this much money but didn't do as well compared to this studio?
Yeah,
right.
I think when I look back at some of my favorite games in recent years, they're all from smaller teams. Maybe you too, Brian, because like you like Shift Up. Shift Up is not a big team; they're a smaller team. They just happen to get funds from Sony to do Stellar Blade, right? And it's like last year, my game of the year was Unicorn Overlord, and Vanillaware is not. They're not really that big of a team. They just happen to be published by Atlas, right? And it's like those smaller games, Sea of Stars, before that, and other games. Those are been some of my favorite experiences, especially ones that call back to experiences that we loved. Bug Fables is another one that's really good. I'm not sure if anybody here's played Bug Fables, but it's literally Paper Mario. Like people wanted a good Paper Mario game. They made Paper Mario, and nobody has played it still, which I'm surprised. Like I think right now it's on sale for like $6. So if you haven't played Bug Fables, I highly recommend playing Bug Fables. It's literally in the aesthetic of Paper Mario, and it's really good. It has all the funny writing and all that. But again, another indie team, a very small team that did that. And I hope games like Expedition 33 continue to succeed to show that we want games like that. We don't care about the budget. We just want good games. Like you can sell us a $40 game like Sea of Stars. I was happy for the success it had because it was a smaller game, but it showed people like, we like games like that. We don't have to have a $80, game that looks like Assassin's Creed Shadow or whatever the case might be. So I agree. And I'm glad. I'm happy for them. Hopefully it also shows Ubisoft that like they got talent and they're not letting their talent, you know, do their thing because I say that because if you don't know, they're all ex Ubisoft employees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I feel like, and I hope there's like a bigger indie game boom with this. I feel like this should have happened like a long time ago because
Well, I
there's
mean,
like
there
so many
is the
more. There were so
boom.
many more. There no like I need like meaning I want to have I want like people like me and others to like further get more invested into more indie titles and stuff.
Hmm.
So that way it's more like on the chart where people are more playing more indie games, more they're
Yeah.
playing AAA games, if that makes
Well,
sense,
yeah,
right?
that I think I feel like a lot more people are playing more indie games. It's just you don't hear about them as much.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree with that too because I feel like
Like it's the news outlets don't talk about it as much. If it's not from, Rockstar or EA or something like that, then it's not being told. Like the only reason we know about Split Fiction and why it's promoted is because EA is behind it, right? But like
yeah,
if EA wasn't behind that, I doubt anybody would be reporting about Split Fiction or It Takes Two or Way Out or anything like that.
which sucks honestly, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, the only reason why I know about mouthwashing was because of Bryant. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of
So
good games out there that you won't never know about. Like Bug Fables. Again, has anybody here played Bug Fables?
no,
Nope.
See? You gotta play Bug Fables. Good game. If you like Paper Mario, you'll love Bug Fables. It's literally Paper Mario. All
What's it called
right.
again?
Bug Fables.
No, I know. I just like
Oh,
the name. That's fun
yeah.
to say. Bug Fables.
when you keep saying Bug Fables, it reminds me of Bug's
Bug
Life, the
Fables.
movie, for some odd
I'm
reasons.
pretty sure they were inspired by that to an extent. It's a cool game.
Yeah.
Like from the get go, the start, it's cool. And instead of you having only 2 characters, there's 3 characters, which is kind of cool as well. I'll say they do give you like a little bit of a twist, but for the most part, combat's exactly the same. But yeah, I'm with you there. Right now, it's my game of the year. The only other game I'm really looking forward to for the rest of the year is Metroid Prime 4. Um,
Mm.
that's really it. Like, unless something gets announced, only reason why I don't care much about Death Stranding 2 is because I haven't played Death Stranding 1. So that's
Yeah, I
really the
gotta get
only
on that.
only reason for that. And I can't really think of any other game. I mean, there's Ghost of
I'm
Yotei, I guess, as well.
I'm planning on playing Stellar Blade when I can't comes out on
Yeah.
June 11th and stuff.
Yes.
Maybe that'll overtake Expedition 33, but who knows? It
Well,
depends.
No,
that
because
you
I
would
think
have
that came
to
out last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'll have to retroactive, like, go back and be like, that was your game of the year of 2024.
Right.
Oh,
Because
I
that's a
mean, yeah,
2024
fair.
game. Yeah.
No, that's fair.
That's why I wouldn't put like I'm looking forward to playing that too, but like I wouldn't put that in my game of the year this year because it's not a game that comes out this year. But I will change it if I like it like as much as Brian did. I will say that this overtakes Unicorn Overlord as my game of the year for
I don't know
last year.
about that. No,
I don't
that's
think
not
so.
gonna
Yeah, I mean,
happen.
you know
That's
the
not
style of
gonna
games I like, so it's. Honestly, the only other thing that I think that can outside of Metroid Prime 4 that would make me reconsider game of the year would be like if like Fire Emblem, a new Fire Emblem comes out. That's the only other thing that
God
would
Yeah,
help
change my
us.
mind.
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but they won't do a new Fire Emblem this year. I know that. They told me. Anyways, appreciate everybody for joining as always. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Follow over on Twitch. We will be back tomorrow with the group stream. We'll be testing out the 5070 there. Hopefully we don't get any crashes. I did fully uninstall the drivers because I didn't do a clean install of my driver. So I did a clean install this time. So hopefully that fixed that. And I didn't realize I didn't have rebar turned on. So I had to enable rebar. So we'll see how that plays. I was talking to somebody and they said I should have used was it DDU? I believe it's called.
Yeah,
To
DDU. Yeah.
uninstall the drivers and then reinstall the drivers that way. I guess we'll test it out and see how it works while we stream. And if it does crash, it gets to that point, then I'll do that as the last component. Because the only issue I was really getting was that weird error where saying the GPU. What was it saying? The whole thing. The GPU will not respond to more commands, most likely because of an invalid command passed by the calling application. I wish I truly understood what that meant, but all I know it has something to do with the GPU, and I never got this until I got this GPU. So we'll see how it works, and hopefully it doesn't do it again. So Split Fiction will definitely test it out, and I definitely want to do more tests before I decide to keep this or not. So yeah. Anyways, Ash, we're gonna catch you at.
You can catch me at Ash Destroy on YouTube.
What about you, fan?
You catch me at Phaneckswhy at all the socials.
continuing his Last of Us Part 2 playthrough.
Yeah, Expedition 33 has been taking up all my time.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. At Red So Deep on Blue Sky.
Awesome. And as always, you can catch me right here at the Random Encounter. You can catch me and Bryant tomorrow with Split Fiction. And we'll be back next week. Yeah, try to think. Oh, I don't know. For some reason, my brain just went down. We'll be back next week. Next Wednesday, I'll continue my solo stream. Probably testing out my GPU more if I don't do a surprise stream to test it out one last time. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Fan. Thank you, Ash. Thank you, Bryant. We'll catch you guys next time.